It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Good evening, good evening. How is everyone this fine Monday? The football season is now officially over and PSG are European champions. There's a Club World Cup, but who cares about the Club World Cup, right? Right, it's done. I mean, is there Olympics as well later this summer as well? And there are other seasons still going on. Norway's still going on, the MLS is... Let's start that again. Good evening. The European season has come to... No, Norway's in Europe. I'm good at this, hey? Let's say hello properly. How is everyone? It's wonderful to see you all as we join for a slightly later start as we are now reverting back to our 7 p.m. slot. And there are some beautiful people in already. There is a DM bassist who scared the living bejesus out of me before the stream started. Welcome in, my dude. It's lovely to see you. We also have Viva, we have Lord Louis, we have RJ, we have Sasmat, we have Zeratul as well. How are you all doing? How were your weekends? Did anyone get up to anything particularly exciting or fun, or just really lazy? Because I do love a lazy weekend. We also have a little bit of Hungermin in. We have some GNG. We have a Crodmo as well. It's great to see you all, guys. I know, Crodmo, how your week... Well, I know how part of your weekend was. You get us in over on YouTube as well. Good evening. You get tea is ready just in time. That's the kind of timing that we are looking for. We also have the medical car, we've got Draw, we've got Blue Lions, we've got Kicker, we've got El Norby as well. It is so wonderful to see you all on this, which we have established is the International Day of Cat Vomit. It appears that ill cat seems to be a recurring theme, which is a little bit of a shame. I'm guessing it may well have something to do with the heat, to be fair, because once that heat does start to ramp up, it does kind of make you feel all a little bit woozy. I know certainly I moved things back a little bit later, the chance to squeeze in a nap, and then it was far too warm. Even with the aircon on, even with fans in my face, I don't know how I'm going to survive this summer. So what have we got in store today? Oh, by the way, welcome in Da Vinci Wad Waste Life Gaming. Thank you very much for the follow. Yes, today we are going to pick up pretty much where we left off on Friday. On Friday, we had played a couple of games in pre-season. We'd made a reasonable number of transfers, and I said to you that I'm going to play through the rest of pre-season. I'm going to try and sell some players, but I'm going to try and make no more transfers in. And I moved the game forwards by approximately 2 days. And I realised that wasn't going to happen. I think that we've got quite a few more transfers still to sort out, and I didn't want to do them off stream. I'm trying to get them all covered. So let's head on in and see where we are roughly. Let me pop over to the right screen first, and then we'll head here. So RJ the Beard is coming back. It is, isn't it? It's so nice. I've got my, like, everyone has their comfort thing to fiddle with, you know, like kids have their blanket. And for me, it has always been the beard. Being able to just constantly do this over and over all the way through the day makes me feel so comfortable. It's nice to be able to do it again properly. So who cares about a Club World Cup? Exactly my point. So the Central European football's in. Oh my, welcome in Blockbuster V20 and Graders. Thank you very much for coming on in. How was your stream? Your timing is absolutely fantastic. We're just catching up exactly where we left off on Friday. So we will get you kind of up to speed with where things are. So we are currently in pre-season. We have signed a load of players. We've sold some, but we've had a couple of issues with getting rid of some of our high earners. Most specifically, Nico Gonzalez. He was here when we arrived. He's earning 375,000 euros per week, which by my estimations is about 18 million euros a year. And he's refusing he told us he wanted to leave. He said he wanted to leave back in January. We said, okay then. And then he's rejected every offer since, which is a little bit frustrating. Hopefully we're going to move him on. Because he's currently, whilst he's still here, he's kind of like part of our squad. And then someone bid for Tijani Reinders. Reinders is available on a free transfer, and there has been a contract offer submitted by Lens and Levante. So we're swooping in. I would rather have Reinders, a 33-year-old Reinders, in as a squad option and get rid of Nico. So yeah, Blockbuster, let us know, who were you, oh, pardon me. So who are you managing at the moment? Tell us about your save as well. So did we pass the 20 degrees in the UK? We did indeed. It's horrendous. Anything above 13 degrees is awful. Aaritalo, you just beat the rain record in your town, set in 1895. That is crazy. Ghost Fitzkiller says maybe the cats are ill after that final day for Villa. Oh, thankfully, Ghost Fitz. I didn't expect us to reach Champions League, so I'm still bitter about the decision. But at the end of the day, it's over the course of a season. We just didn't quite do enough, and that's fine. So Crummo says, okay, having sung the praises of your cats, you just had to go into the garden for the second time since I got home from work to separate Basil, one of your cats, from the next door's cat Marlowe. That's what cats do. That's exactly what they're there for. They're there to start scraps with the neighbours. Blockbuster, you're doing a Rise of Kingdom stream, then did some FM, got a tier 20 to Prem, and in your first season. Fantastic. Which team have you taken over? DM Basis, has Basil not watched all of the while? You don't fuck with Marlowe. That's true. Da Vinci misses the UK weather, to be honest. When I used to live there, never too cold, never too hot, just right. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm definitely in favour of something a little bit colder than England, which is why Scotland is always very, very appealing. That and like one of my middle names is Scottish, so I think I count enough as Scottish, just about. Now, Blue Lines did redeem a mystery minigame, so let's head on over and do that before we catch up a little bit more on what's going there. And I will start, as always, with a round of Guess the Player. Now, those that haven't been here before, I will explain. It's really, really straightforward. Ignore the picture there. That is just a placeholder. In a moment, you're going to see 4 pictures from a player's profile in FM24. You're going to see their positions, their attributes and traits, the coach report, and their club history, one after the other. Your job is to guess who the player is at the earliest opportunity. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. More points you get, the higher up the scoreboard you end up. So let's head on in to the first clue. And as we head to that, I will remind you that this is in the default database at the beginning of FM24. So a player like Joshua Zirkzee, for example, is still at Bologna, has never made his move to Manchester United. So just capping out, Aaritalo, now you're losing the Champions League semi-finals to Liverpool. I'm writing my will and ending this. Aaritalo, it's just a day to chalk off, and tomorrow is clearly going to be better. So Blockbuster, you're Wallingham Wanderers. That's an amazing name for a team. So Draw is currently work with Ludogorets, really enjoying it, been in the Champions League group stage for 4 seasons in a row. Last season you made the round of 16. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. So I understand your English are not Scottish. Definitely laugh, fans. I'm spiritually Scottish. Come to Scotland, bring Crodmo and the cats with you, and Mrs. Crodmo. Sounds like a deal. Sounds like a deal. So we've got some guesses coming in, and some of the guesses clearly came in before we revealed that this is a central defender. So I'll skip past those. We've got guesses for Serbi, for Pacho, for DeMarco, for Pacho again, Marquinhos, Goldson, Marquinhos, Zuma, Gomez, Beraldo, Bastoni, Kivior, De Vrij, Colwell, Damba, and Maguire. Fabulous guesses. None of them are right. I haven't gone for a thematic choice from the PSG Inter final for a change. Just once off. So this is what this player looks like. This is a composed centre-back. Great work rate, great tackling. Otherwise, just pretty solid across the board. So could it be Tyrone Mings? Sadly, it can't be Tyrone Mings. Can't be Darmian either. I mean, it could. It isn't Darmian, but it's what I meant rather than it couldn't be. Could it be Lewis Dunk or Matthias Ginter? Could it be James Tarkowski or Jonathan Tah? Another guess for Dunk. We've got Disasi, we've got Akanji, we've got Ben Mee, we've got Lenny Yoa Hatto, Fofana, Courtney House, Koundé, Mark Gay, Fabian Schär. These are all fabulous guesses, and yet sadly, none of these are correct. Now, Mr. Momo-Man, welcome in, by the way, sir, has correctly pointed out it does not dive into tackles as a centre-back. Something to think about, someone who's maybe a little bit more patient as a centre-back. So probably not an Antonio Rudiger, unfortunately. Could it be? We've got another guess for Tar. We've got Dan Burn, Elvedi, Danso, Kalulu, Pavard, Van Heike, Thiago Silva, Paolo Maldini, Diamande, Hecker, all fabulous guesses, but so far, none are right. Let's move on to the coach report, see if that helps us at all. So before the coach report came through, Neutral Normie went for Fikayo Tomori. Zerachul has gone for Chancel Mbemba. Crodmo is keeping things out of anachronistic with Alessandro Costacurta. Fine guesses. But we have a good Premier League player. That doesn't really help us much. I mean, it's pretty much a summary of the things we've already seen, but we do now at least know the league. So could it be Mark Gay? Both Punkasan and Yigit have gone for Gay within seconds. We've got Keane being guessed as well. Could it be John Stones or Marco Senesi even? Could it be Royale or Joe Gomez or Harry Maguire? Could it be Virgil or Chalobah or Konate? Another guess for Van Hecker, another guess for Dunk. Fabulous guesses. We aren't quite right there, unfortunately. So we've got Mengi. Could it be Van Dijk or Michael Keane? Mickey van der Ven is a fine guess as well. FM Daddy, have you seen that Sega's announced a new management game using the SI Games database, but it's not FM? It's not. I mean, it's a new game in so much as it's a new edition, but it's a game that has been released in Japan for like the last 15 years or so. It's only the second time it's going to be released to Western audiences. It was about 10-15 years ago released on PS2 over in Europe. So from what I can tell, they're just using the database to help make it even better. So let's see. Have we got a correct guess in? We've got Cody, we've got Matip, we've got Muriel, we've got Doherty, we've got Anderson, we've got Chris Richards, we've got Bayer, Gabriel, Murillo, Romero, Bayer again, Calafiori, Lewis, Martinez, Saliba, Dawson. It is quite incredible. I think that we have somehow named every centre-back in the Premier League except the one we're looking for. So is it De Ligt? It's not De Ligt. It's not Mosquera or White. This is a former Charlton and Brentford defender playing for Aston Villa. And there we go. We've got the correct guesses coming in. We've got Konza, Chambers, Konza, Smith, Konza. Now I'm going to have to double check this one because it is very, very tight between Liam Reynolds and Crodmo. Crodmo over on Twitch, Liam over on YouTube. So Liam's has come in just after Crodmo's, but there's a slight delay. So we might have actually got that in relative to the reveal time. So that's going to be something I have to confirm off stream. it's controversial. Controversial, because it is indeed the glorious, the wonderful, the greatest defender that has ever existed, Ezri Konsa. Oh, I love it, DM Basis. Konsa, 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 chameleon. We come and go. We come and go. And as I watch all the viewers leave, understandable, let's be fair. Fantastic work there. A tiebreaker. I need to set up a tiebreaker, Medical Carl, that's for sure. Crodmo, stop doing everything you can to stop giving me the points. I mean, you should see my lovely little log here. It is remarkable how quick those two came through. It's looking for the VAR check, Mr. Momo Man, indeed. So Aaritalo, you had Konsa in your save, but you didn't think of him as a right back. Well, he was a centre back that can play as right back, indeed. So Maguire is better. You get. I'm afraid. I like Maguire, but he's no Ezri Konsa. No Ezri Konsa. Welcome in, Tactics, Stephen. Voice of an angel. That was definitely not the voice of an angel. But then, Boy George didn't really have that good a voice, to be fair. He was just flamboyance personified. Crodmo does not wish to look at my log. That is understandable. Right, so where are we at? We have put a bid in for Tijani Reinders. So he's a player that we were keeping an eye on. He's just been released by Napoli on a free transfer. I think it'd be nice to bring him back to the club. And he fits in what we're looking to do, which is our lovely little system here, where the ball winner here is actually a playmaker. Ricardo Roca, this excellent passer who can do the defensive work. So the idea being is that he will be there to kind of help harass, but then when he's on the ball, he's going to be tying things together. And then a roaming player next to him. Nico might be that man if we can't sell him, but that's what I want Reinders for. Reinders and Eamon Kari going to fight out that role, which will be very nice. Now I have expanded on these tactics. So this is a 3-4-3 diamond. The libero steps up, the false 9 drops in, and then the two wide players are essentially our strikers there. We do have the other version that we were using part times last season, where we've just moved the wide players inside, so they're a little bit more aggressive in their attacking. And then there is also a 4-3-3 version. So we're just moving that midfield unit further up so that they can hold those roles for games when maybe we need to use we feel like a back four might be better. So that's essentially what we're looking for. We're looking for that roaming playmaker. Venturelli is about to be sold to Birmingham, to Leeds or Atlanta even. So we've got one right back, Tommaso Profundi. He's currently away with the Italian under-23s. We do need another right back. We currently have listed this fella, Lico Di Giovanni. He's a right winger. He's been kind of okay down in... He broke through into the team for Catanzaro a couple of seasons ago. Was quite good in Serie B. Not quite as good up in Serie A, but he was doing really well in terms of dribbling, tackling, and expected assists. So it's more a case of his teammates weren't finishing. Now, I did have him on my list. What I didn't notice was that he's just signed a new deal. So we've seen that he signed a new deal. I went to speak to him, and he hasn't said no, but I have a feeling that if we go and bid for him now, he's going to want to have a relatively inflated role. We're looking at a squad player. Potentially, I expect he's going to want to be an important player somewhere around that level, which Profundi is our starter. So we are now scouting Mattia Zanotti. We have some information on Zanotti. He's currently playing in Bordeaux, Italian, experienced at 29. Last season was pretty decent. 7 assists from 32 games. Again, not necessarily perfect, but as a squad player, I think that should be absolutely fine. So we'll see what the deal is. Maybe a couple more weeks after Di Giovanni's contract's been signed, he'll be even more amenable to joining us. That's the hope, anyway. So RJ, is Maguire the target forward? Exactly, he's not even a striker. He's not even a centre-back. Akoratiba, welcome in, my dude. Welcome in, how are you? Class has been cancelled today. Perfect, welcoming in. I mean, has class been cancelled for like a good, proper cancelling Or does this mean you now have to learn what was going to be covered? Because that's the worst thing, when class gets cancelled and then you get a whole bunch of extra homework as a result. Sass, even the dog you don't have ran away when you sang. That's the power of these vocal cords. So RJ, just noticed Palmer, we lost brain cells. We did indeed. We did have absolutely lost brain cells. But Cole Palmer is perfect for our false 9 role. Welcome in, by the way, Tad. So Cole Palmer, here we go. Been playing as an inside forward for Eindhoven. He's been scoring a pretty decent rate for a wide player, putting in really, really good performances. He is a player that has great balance, great agility. He's quite tall and got decent jumping reach, so he might not be the best header of the ball, but he can still be that physical presence for when he doesn't drop deep. But when he does drop deep, he's got great technique. He's pretty decent when it comes to passing and vision. He's a good finisher. He's kind of potentially the exact kind of mould of player that we're looking for. And he's probably going to be a better option than Alexander Isak, who will be our backup there, now 32 years old. Isak can still, like, again, another player with good technique, good movement, good flair, which I really, really like. He likes the ball played into feet, so I'm hoping that will encourage him to drop deep. I know it's not come deep to get the ball, but if he wants it to feet, he's got to show for it, right? But if we also need to play him as an advanced forward, maybe we're chasing the game or we're splitting him out into one of those wider positions, we can. So hopefully that gives us some balance there. Now, the other thing I want a new centre-back. I think it's probably, I'm looking at Ilario Monterisi. So ideally, Italian centre-backs would be great. I'm looking for that libero. That libero, we sold off Malik Thior for 50 million euros, and we're going to run with Ilan Siklic in that role, potentially.
It's not the statistics! It's not the statistics! You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
On a needle, Marv, you absolute gentleman. That's 2 months. You're an absolute star. How are you, sir? How was the remainder of your weekend? So Tactic Stevens says Zanotti is decent in the game. He looks like he could be all right. Say we're looking for someone who's going to back up our new gen Tommaso Profundi, who was like in the running to be the best player in the league last season. So we're kind of sorted in that sense, and having someone that could perhaps bring experience as well as competence backing him up would be very, very useful. The neutral normie class has been cancelled. Someone flooded the classrooms. That would be horrendous. So Nightcrawler, after your little song, your cat brought home another cat for protection. That's fair. That's fair. So the teacher finished everything for Wednesday's big exam. So it's basically all done. All fantastic. And good luck for Wednesday's exam as well. There is not a single thought behind Cole Palmer's art. Have you seen the interview with him that's doing the rounds today? Where he doesn't understand what Mount Rushmore is or the concept of it all. It's very, very, very uncomfortable. So Marv, it's too hot. You hate it. 100%. Who doesn't want to live with penguins though? Let's be fair. So yeah, Siklic is the man we're running with. He's just 22 years old, described as a defensive midfielder. Not necessarily sure I agree with that. He does like to stay back, which means that he should hold the bottom of that diamond quite nicely. He was okay for us last season. Not bad. Much better playing as a libero than he was as a defensive midfielder. And someone that I think we can certainly work with. But I wouldn't mind a bit more experience there. Kamil Wojcik was meant to be our backup, but I'm actually just put him on the loan list. So I'm going to see if I can loan him out along with Eduardo De Feo and see if we can get some experience in. So there we go. We're looking at Monterisi, possibly Buongiorno from our fellow stadium dwellers. Obviously a very, very experienced player. He's still got decent acceleration and pace. His natural fitness means that at 33, we don't have to worry about him necessarily declining too quickly. A third choice is possibly Daniele Casali. Daniele Casali is a player that we've seen before that we might play at the right centre-back spot as a backup and then swing one of our right centre-backs into the middle. He's not quite as well-rounded from an attribute point of view, but last season he did play a fair whack in Serie A and he was winning his headers, he was winning his tackles, he wasn't losing the ball much. So possibly an option, but we have a lot of young centre-backs already, so I'm not 100% certain on that. And then I've got some goalkeepers being scouted. We haven't actively tried to sell Elia Caprile, but I want to see if we get a situation where maybe a team starts to show interest, we might look at maybe trying to push that through. So that's the thoughts. We've got some friendlies still to go. And so yeah, as I said, on Friday night, I was like, I'm going to play through Preseason, and we're going to just get to the point where we're starting a game. But I didn't want to sign any more players until we came back. I thought we could leave it until the season starts, right? But then it became clear that I'm going to want to be quite active over the next few weeks in games. So I didn't want to deny you of all the admin that we're going to go with. A trial offer. No, absolutely not. You don't get to take him on trial. What's that nonsense? Have you already taken him on trial? What a weird... Like, I've put him on development list, not on a trial him out. Weird. Right, loan offers, they're being dealt with. Loan offers being dealt with. DeFeo's gone on that trial. Cool. Sinato, he's one of our young strikers. He's going to go out as well on loan. So what I will do is all the players that are currently not in the squad, we'll just drop them down to the under 20s and see how we go there. DM Basis, he's just a fucking idiot. Fantastic footballer, fucking idiot. Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. Is that not the way that most Actually, right, so I was thinking of this the other day when I saw that Cole Palmer interview. There has always been a reasonably well-accepted history that British footballers are dumb as rocks. But yeah, I don't tend to see that quite as often with foreign footballers. Is there something about British footballers that makes them dumber? Is it that, or do we just not catch enough interviews, or maybe we give players the benefit of the doubt because if they're able to speak in a second language, that's quite impressive. Yeah, is it a particularly British thing, or is it just about exposure? Ender, welcome in, by the way. Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, but Marv is saying it. Footballers generally aren't the sharpest of people. Neutral Normie, it's 2032. Have Inter got over the 2025 UCL final yet? I mean, Inter have been doing pretty damn well in this save, let's be fair. I mean, 4 years on the bounce. Have they won the Champions League in this save? They go on to... No, they don't. They are still starved of Champions League success. Bless them. But they have won a Club World Cup back... Oh, was that back in 2010? That shows you how much I give a shit about the Club World Cup, eh? Right, so Venturelli has now gone. Right, so as I said, I don't think that he's going to want to join us, or he's going to be willing to accept the squad status we're looking at. Let's see if we can get it down at 4.1. Fine, we will do that. But I mean, hopefully, he is my preferred choice. What have we got going on here? He wants to be a regular starter. There we go. That's what I thought. Squad player up to regular starter if you get 10 assists. Squad player up to regular starter, up to important player if you get 10 assists. There we go. That's kind of what I was expecting, so no loss there. Hopefully the Zanotti report will come in reasonably soon and we can have some... That's some pretty good timing. That'll do nicely. So Zanotti, not injury prone. That seems to be reasonably good. Gets forward whenever possible. Looks for pass. Can't dribble, but that's okay. We don't need him to dribble. We just need him to run and cross. Heading isn't too much of an issue there. Yeah, I'm reasonably comfortable with that. Squad plays 43 to 56. We'll see if we can get that down a little bit as well. And so we're looking at, let's do it 2.5 million again. They've gone for 7.9, 8.1 million total. So if we say 4, I'm guessing 4.8 might be the best we can get away with. Maybe not even that. Let's try 4.9, right on the cusp there. And hopefully that will work in our favour. So let's see. I mean, Patrick Bamford turned down Harvard to be a footballer. I mean, that's surely a joke, right? Please tell me that's not true. That'd be incredible. Jens Lehmann has a degree in economics. Did he have a degree in economics before he was a footballer, as in like whilst he was still a young footballer? Because a lot of people can develop their understanding and get what might seem smarter as they get older, and then like a post-career degree seems perfectly reasonable. So the British school system reckons Aaritalo, fair enough. Mr. Moman says quite a few footballers are now more educated and well spoken. Palmer's just thick. DM Basis thinks their countries, there's still quite a focus on education alongside football, whereas here it's football first and foremost. I think that's fair. Talking about what you know for RSCA, school is very important. Koatibi, you haven't seen Brazilian foot players getting interviewed here. That's what I mean by like the not getting exposed to it English, that we don't maybe necessarily see that it is a little bit more universal. So Neutronomy, as someone who follows Spanish football, most of them would be lucky to have a room temperature IQ. Ouch. Edmundo feeding beer to a chimp. That sounds amazing. Sounds incredible. The Arsenal English lads, Saka, Rice, Ethan, MLS, and then Jude, etc. That's fair. Rashford is 2. Is he not? I don't listen to him much. I don't think he comes across badly, that's for sure. So Tim McKibben, is this an updated iconic skin? This is not the iconic skin. This is Musterman Modern. It's not a publicly released skin, but it is available to Patreons, or at least a slight offshoot of it is available to Patreons. If that is something you're interested in, do read the README over on that link there, though, because make sure that you feel like it's fair. I think that the offer is really good value, but I wouldn't recommend signing up to Patreon just for access to skins. Right, we're not going to play as a right back. Squad players, fine. 40k, 29 up until 32. Let's move that, try and make that 4 years. That's cool. Up until he's age 33, gives us a little bit of wiggle room as well. So that's marvellous. So Koatiba, an under 20 player, once said, and you quote, "Look, I don't know what happened. If it happened, I don't know, but I think that football isn't what happened because I don't know what happened, but football is what happened today." That is incredible. That is quite incredible. The Quez, if the typical football manager is smart or not is a real conundrum. Some tactics require a lot of thought, but in interviews they usually say the most basic things imaginable. I think there's certainly, like, as with any form, he's out just for a bit, any form of intelligence in that respect, something like football where it's a game of instincts and learned behaviours, it's just about repeatedly learning those. Oh, so Tim's, I do apologise, Tim. I popped the link over on YouTube. I assume you are the Tim over on YouTube as well that asked the question. So if you could, Crobmo, sorry, I'm a little bit behind on chat. If you could pop the Patreon link up, that would be absolutely fabulous. So DM Bases turned down a business scholarship. Fair enough. Fair enough. Christopher Iyer had straight A's in high school. Palmer does like chippy chips, though. He does. Bamford is very bright, went to private school. Believe Lehman took his degree while still playing. A former Everton hero, Barry Horn, has a degree in chemistry and now teaches. Are they the exceptions that prove the rule rather than the general situation? Or the other way around? One Matter has 2 degrees, but I think they're both post-football. Awesome. Company and Chiellini both have master's degrees. I mean, there was... something about Chiellini that makes me believe that he's a very, very intelligent human being. An absolute dick, but intelligent. I don't know if that's a justified thought or observation. Just kind of, he seems like he's kind of smart, just not necessarily a pleasant fella. So company is big brain. There we go. Socrates was a qualified doctor and a philosopher. Not football, but I love that Dexter Holland has a PhD in molecular biology. I was watching, I think I was on Instagram or one of those, just mindlessly doom scrolling. And there's some coverage of an early Offspring gig, playing Self-Esteem and watching the mosh pit. I was at a festival. The camera zoomed in on the mosh pit. Offspring isn't a mosh pit kind of band. It just felt so weird. But it is a great song. An absolutely incredible song. I have done you, slow reader. Thank you, Crodmo. I think Juan Mata had some sort of degrees as well. Yeah. Just because I'm bored, I have to ask, why is there 2 Discord access on the Patreons in all 3 even? So there are different channels that are available. Says there are some down at the national license, some at the continental license as well. But also, I think I may well have written it wrong as well. So let me check that. I think that generally speaking, is there a different one for continental license and continental license pro? I'm not 100% certain on that. So I will double check on that. Matt, that Brazilian quote sounds like malfunctioning text-to-speech, doesn't it just? It's an incredible quote. Absolutely ridiculous. RJ, Lukaku is fluent in 5 languages and understands 3 others. That's very impressive. Neutral Normie watched the overlap episode with Chiellini. It was good, but I was bored and couldn't finish. That's fair. I mean, people take issue with me saying this, but Frank Lampard, before he was a manager, so between like the ends of his playing days and him actually being a manager, when he would appear as a pundit on things like Match of the Day, he was very, very intelligent, very insightful, and exceptionally dull. And I kind of wonder if that's why he's struggled sometimes as a manager, because fans just get kind of bored. We're dominating, but we're not creating chances. So I think that might be something. I know it's only a friendly, but that is, yeah, we're getting carved open a little bit too much, and I think that's from a lack of incisiveness from us. So we do have been more expressive. Let's try popping those up a little bit more there. That said, I mean, yeah, we are still looking to replace some of these players, and the second half isn't going to be any better because we're going to have a whole load of players out of position and young players that will have no part in the season coming up. Let's do something like that there. And then same thing as we've done before. We will simulate the second half. We just want to make sure that all the players are getting 45 minutes. And we've got a goal in the second half. Well, hey, so that's cool. And we can move forwards there. So Greg Gaffin from Bad Religion has one too. I think it's in zoology. That's quite cool. So Mr. Man says, Palmer is arguably incredibly intelligent, considering all his eggs were in one basket, but now he earns millions a year while the rest of us watch him. I mean, there is a difference between, there is definitely a difference between intelligence and being talented. Palmer is very, very talented. I don't think you can call that necessarily intelligence, as much as it would be quite nice to. Right, Vaskovic is a player that we're trying to sell. He's a youngster. 10.5 and 11.75. So they're offering 11.75, but under conditions. So we'll say no. That's fine. That's fine as well. Some more players loaned out, which is cool. So Great Antoine's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you? Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maidens has a master's degree in history. I can believe that. I mean, not that I would doubt it. You know what I mean. Lampard doesn't strike me as the sort of manager to hype up a squad pre-game. Yeah, I don't think he's a motivator. I think he's very, very knowledgeable, but not necessarily maybe a particularly good communicator. English football absolutely still struggles with anti-intellectualism, which doesn't help. I mean, I don't know what you mean. Normie, I think elite footballers rarely make good managers because the game comes easily to them. Xavi is another example, although Alonso's again an exception. Not quite Xavi levels as a player, but still. And that's true. But also, I mean, I think that Xavi Alonso is going to be a very, very good manager over the course of his career. But it's also, we're not necessarily in a position to make that judgment. He's had a fantastic impact at Bayer Leverkusen. He's now going into a very, very difficult situation, a real chance to prove himself. And, you know, the real challenge tends to come sort of 3, 4, 5 years down the line when you start to get challenged a little bit more in terms of people working out how to work against you and how you adapt. He's shown good signs early on, but it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. I think he's going to be a great manager. I think he's going to be have a very, very long career as a manager. But at the moment, we don't quite know yet. Triangles, do you ever bother with downloading new gen face packs? Or do you prefer your new gen faces to stay in their glorious true form? I see so there's a couple of things at play here, Triangles. One, I am vehemently anti-AI, which is the direction that the majority of face packs have gone in the route of. And two, it's such an unimportant part of the game to me. I'm more focused on performance and like the world rather than worrying about what faces look like. They're fine. They are faces. Zanotti comes in. That's marvellous. So we've got some cover up right back now, which is beautiful. DMB, can't remember if it was an ex-player or somebody else, but they were talking about how difficult it is for the top players to become managers for exactly that reason. They get frustrated because the players can't do things that come so easily to them. That makes great sense. Let's be fair. I mean, trying to when you know how to do something or you're doing something instinctively, communicating that is exceptionally tricky. Sinister, 2 days ago, a young Musterman had a shave. Just look at him now. Isn't it so nice? The beard is almost back. Right, more players out on loan. Do we have? We're still waiting on Reinders. I think, right, now we're at the 1st of August. We're going to try pushing out Nico. Any more people interested? It's still just Al Hilal. So my thinking here is there's £18 million left that we're paying him £18 million this year. So I'm going to try now offering him out with us paying some of his wages. So I'm going to say 43 million. If we pay half, that's saving 9 million. 18.5 million. 18.5 million is 9.25. So if we go up by 9.25, so that would be 35 million that we're making out of this transfer potentially. So I'm going to try that, see if that works for us. We also still haven't been able to shift Stefan Bajcic, so we're going to offer him out at an absolute bargain of 1 million euros and see whether that gets anyone to bite. I don't think we've got any others that we're trying to actively sell right now. So that's the hope. RJ, you also feel really bad already for next season. You kept Besnik Hassi as coach despite the terrible 0.92 points per game. Oof. And lost in a cup final and poor gameplay. Well, yeah, no, that doesn't sound good at all. That doesn't sound good whatsoever. Cronmo, Bobby Charlton's one of many great ex-players who couldn't manage, so he couldn't really understand. Yeah. Lampard knows Latin, last I checked. That's quite cool. He could give them an old Julius Caesar speech. And I'm pretty sure that there are going to be many times over his managerial career where he's going to get Brutused as well. Hossam's in, welcome in. You had your first baccalaureate exam. How do you feel it went? How do you feel it went? I imagine that's very, very stressful. Soon you'll be able to watch the streams without the thought of it in the back of my head. The next few weeks, I can imagine, are going to be very, very stressful. Once you get to the end of those exams, it's going to be so nice to relax. So, Sinister, sorry for being spammy, but last question. Do you have a video of your match engine criticisms? I don't. I don't have a video on the match engine criticisms because, generally speaking, I'm not got any great, like, I'm willing to embrace certain elements of imagination in trying to understand things after the fact. Once I see something bullshit in the moment, I'm obviously, that's bullshit. But afterwards, I'm just like, yeah, fine. It's not really something that winds me up enough to why I'd obviously love it to improve. I'd love to see better work done in terms of defensive positioning and recovery and handovers in particular, the way that the marking works when your responsibilities are passed off. That's a big concern. And the directness of football. Right, Juan Manuel Rivera wouldn't have had any stats for him anyway. Very, very injury prone, so we're going to remove. That's someone we're not going to consider if we get a bid for Caprile. So Night of Knees in, welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How are you? I only can make it to the stream now and still lack the mandatory shower. I mean, go get that shower, dude. Go get that shower. So Normie, why would I want an AI face pack when I can run 2 extra low tiers of Bulgaria Football League with the same processing power? Exactly. I know that AI can't compete with the faces you design, not even if it were trained them, but why do you mind AI otherwise? It's very, very largely about the ethical sourcing, the training material that's being used for it. I find that very, very questionable. The amount of money that the AI companies, the most notable AI companies, are putting in lobbying against any kind of regulation makes me feel very, very uncomfortable. We already know how AI, and especially AI image generation, is being used to make deep fake porn of non-consenting adults, and the pushback against any regulation that might deal with it is just a really, really scummy industry. So I don't feel particularly comfortable with it. I don't think it's good for, generally speaking, creative processes. Much like I don't like using templates. We've got Reinders, by the way. I don't like using templates because it embraces it. What's the word I'm looking for? It encourages, templates encourage laziness. And it's the same kind of thing with AI. It's kind of taking away the exploration that then allows for proper creativity. So I'm not a fan on many levels. Well, they're happy with the Rangers signing. That's good. Come on, let's get some bids in for Nico. Come on, half his wages covered by us. You can't get more generous than that. Right, Reinders in here. We'll use. Oh, we've got Kari back as well, so that's cool. So we can put Zanotti. Right, Nico comes out entirely. Well, he'll just be an extra sub there. Kovacic, Wojciech, Hernandez, Zanotti, Kari, Kajuste, Paolini, Mosconi, Benato, Izak. That's cool there. Pirelli and Gonzalez as the spare men. So pop Zanotti in. Palmer's got a little bit of a knock, so we won't play for this one. Which means we put Mosconi up front potentially. And then Pirelli will get a game as a forward for 45 minutes or so. So let's see. Moment, why are you anti-AI? It's the same one there again. What have you been up to so far? Not only you've not missed much. We're still trying. I didn't progress forwards because I realised that I still wanted to do quite a lot in transfers. I basically just played one friendly off stream. So we've basically picked up where we were on Friday night. We've played a friendly. We've signed Tajani Reinders. We've signed Mario Zanotti, Mattia Zanotti, and we're still trying to get through this period. See if we can start to really make Milan our own. The hope is anyway. So Levski Safir says Jesus loves and has never forgotten about you. That's grand to hear. So DM Basis lads, went and got yourself a crisp sandwich. It's a fine choice. That's good evening snacking. Mr. Moman, you're quite fond of leveraging AI, but do agree it needs heavy regulations. And the thing is as I said, I mean, companies that embrace the opportunity for legislation, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with. So what crisps? That's the fine question. It's going to be Walker's Ready Salted. Oh, that's I can't say I'm necessarily going to buy in on the. You need something with a little bit more, like even if it's just salt and vinegar, surely. Liam asks, what do you think of Bailey going to Saudi as rumoured? I think that it's kind of inevitable after the season he's just had. It's a real shame. Obviously, last season he was absolutely incredible. I still remember that game against Everton where he had a chance to win it right at the end and scuffed his shot. As the full-time whistle went, he just collapsed on the floor. And it wasn't a game of any like major significance. The fact that you could see how much it meant to him, I'm a massive Leon Bailey fan. I just find him so endearing and earnest, and I want him to do well. So I'd feel really sad for him to leave, but I kind of understand it. So Triangles, what's your wage structure looking like now? Oh, we are massively. We'll show it in a moment, but we've taken it down from something like, I think it might have been around 4.5. No, it might have been like 5.5 million to somewhere closer to around 2.5 million, which is beautiful. So Quez, is it bread with crisps between? Exactly that. So Matto, what knife to spread the butter? What plate? What shop are the crisps from? We need more info. Oh, we're getting granular. Very granular right now. So same deal as before. Let's make all these subs and then we will instant result the second half. I think the next games after this one, we'll start dealing with it more like a proper games. We'll be playing the second halves as well. We won't be just doing 45-45 as we look to get ourselves right in the thick of it for the in fact, it's just the next game against Galatasaray. Oh, John Karikaburu. Good player, now 29. Scored. Has he just been there 1 season, 2 seasons? Never quite took off for him. He was really good for me in a Girona save many years ago. So DM Basis says fuck AI. I mean, that is a much more concise way of putting it. Kwame, let's face it, lads, if you do work with a computer, almost any kind in your day job, you'll be out of work in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm just accelerating that process. Silver, welcome in, my dude. The AI industry is so scummy indeed. Blue Lions, what's it about? Yeah, don't worry. Sergio, we'll all be rich and retired in 5 years ago. So you've heard about my plan to rob all the banks and distribute the wealth. That's the hope. So Normie recently read an article where Microsoft executives said introducing consent of artists and writers on AI training data would kill the industry. Like, good. If an industry exists solely by exploitation, maybe it shouldn't exist at all. Isn't that the crux of the matter? Right, okay, guys. We've got a break coming up. So, standard malarkey. I'm going to disappear for 3 minutes. I'm going to empty my bladder, fill my lungs, and see you in 3 minutes. And we're back. So DM Basis did warn us he was going to redeem a minigame, and redeem a minigame he has. Let's play a little round of top 10. For those that are new in or haven't been here when we've played this game before, I'll explain the rules. It is tenable. You've probably seen it somewhere else, but in a moment, right beneath me there, I'm going to reveal a criteria. You've then got to write out who you think are going to be the top 10 people to meet that criteria. So we are looking for surnames here. You do need to spell the surname correctly. You can do it all uppercase, all lowercase, a mixture. If a name has an accent in it, like, one of those funny little angled letters above an E, you can include it or not include it. It will still pick it up either way. It is a case of fastest fingers first. So once I reveal the criteria, you will need to react relatively quickly, which means that I am going to give you a small little warning of when that information is about to be revealed. And that information is about to be revealed in 3, 2, 1, go. We are looking for shortest tenured Premier League managers in days. You don't need to guess how many days, you just need to give the surnames in there. So Medical Car has come in straight away, beating Aaritalo to Frank de Boer. And Aaritalo picks up, however, on Les Reed. Les Reed tops the list quite famously. Who was it who picked up on Bradley? Bradley's a great guess there. That's Aaritalo as well. We've got Kike Sanchez Flores. We've got Terry Connor and Rene Muhlenstein as well. I'll be honest, I did not expect anyone to get Terry Connor. That is sensational work. Now, we do have Nathan Jones. We have Colin Todd. We've got Tony Adams in there as well. There is just one last manager remaining that we're looking for. Can we work out who the last manager is? We have had some fantastic guesses in there so far. And it's come through. It took a little while. It didn't take a little while. Aaritalo spelt Ranieri incorrectly the first time. No one picked up on it, and that gave him time to run there again. That is sensational work. So we have Les Reed at Charlton, Rene Muhlenstein at Fulham, Frank de Boer at Crystal Palace, Bob Bradley at Swansea, Kike Sanchez Flores at Watford, Terry Connor at Wolves, Nathan Jones at Southampton, Colin Todd at Derby, Tony Adams at Portsmouth, and Claudio Ranieri at Fulham.
European champion, so I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
That is some sensational work there. Absolutely sensational work there. And whilst that was going on, we did get a little arrival from the glorious, the wonderful Benny. How are you doing, my man? Oh, if you're not following Benny, hit that. For those on Twitch, at least, there's a heart appearing up in the top right. Go and hit that, because he is an absolute gentleman. Now, I do apologise. I know somebody asked about our wages a little bit. It was you, Triangles. Triangles was asking about our wage situation. So we took over in August 2031, where we were spending 5.36 million euros per week. We are now down to 3.24. So we've reduced it. We've reduced it by about 40%, which is pretty good going. Obviously, if we can get Nico Gonzalez's wages off the bill there as well, that would be very nice. That will get us under 3 million euros a week, which will be significant. And I don't think we've sold Elena Kana. Elena Kana, I think, is the biggest sadness for us to lose. His 400,000 euros a week is absolutely crazy, but he was an exceptionally good player. But other than that, I don't think we've necessarily got worse. Maybe just a little different. Just a little different. Let's have a look how we're doing with our reports. Oh, that's a set price now. Oh, okay. I do like Ilario Monterisi. As we can see there, he's good in the air, good anticipation. He's just solid all around. I do like him as a ball cat. 76,000 euros a week at Bayern as well. Would want between 105 and 130. 3-year contract. That seems quite decent. Let's just see, would he go down a little bit lower as well? Might go down a little lower. Just fire that off. Straight 30 million, that's fine. Now we've got Reinders, we can take Lipani off our shortlist as well. We can take Di Giovanni off. So we do have 3 goalkeepers potentially as well. Now, Turati is Italian. That's always a useful thing. Atlanta got relegated, so they're down in Serie B. That might make him very, very easy to get hold of. Good at one-on-ones. Seems all right. But obviously, we've got to be mindful that he's been relegated. Obed and Cambadio is very, very bad at rushing out. That's my big concern there. But excellent one-on-ones, excellent agility. He's caused us problems in this save, right? He's caused us... he had a sensational time when we were at Darmstadt over the 2 legs of the Europa League semis. That was sensational. We saw him play really well against Roma to get Roma relegated before we took the Milan job. So Cambadio could be a good shout as well. Arnau Tenas wasn't someone I was thinking we would go for, but I mean, partly a result of being the best team in Netherlands, he's been very, very good at not conceding goals. So probably would be my third choice there. Probably goes Encampadio, Turati, Tenias, but we don't have anyone showing interest in Caprile yet. It's more just there for us to be mindful of, potentially. But you don't get to choose the role, but you would be a regular starter. 125 I quite like, but let's go up until you're 34. Total cost 135 is reasonable. You go down to 115 just on a 3-year contract then? No, you won't. Let's say 125, but on 4. Wow, you're really not playing ball. 120 on a 3-year contract. Making me look like a mug. Making me look like a mug. A bid. We've got a bid in for Bajic. It would require us to spend around 600,000 euros to sell him for $1 million. Fine, get him out of here. Might join Brentford. I assume that Brentford has mentioned that's the preferred choice out of the 3. So let's go down here. We'll take the offer seriously. Let's hope. Paolini's out for 3 weeks. Mosconi's out for a couple of days. That's all right. Neutral normally thought we'd have more Watford managers here. You would indeed. I mean, I suppose most of their managers have been sacked whilst in the Championship, to be fair. Pardon me. Advised maximum basic wage of 575k per week. You can see why they're in trouble financially, couldn't you? So, Zerchel, how is Nico not in the under-18 teams already? I've moved him back into the senior squad so that I have control over the bids. Because I don't want to worry about the youth. You know, we've got a head of youth development sorting out the contracts down that level. I don't want them to then go, he's now under our control, and they offer him something that we're not keen on at all. So that's kind of the reason why he's back in the senior squad. But if he's still here once the transfer window closes, he's down in the reserves for sure. Mr. Moman, just saw the transfer budget. Damn. Well, we have gone a little bit crazy. Did we sell any at the back of last season as well? So before our transfer window opened up, we sold Fataro and Rogeri for 100 million. So that's an extra 100 on there. We've made 500 million euros in transfers this window. We actually started with 0 transfer budget for this year. But because we knew that we were pushing loads of players out and we don't need crazy amounts of money to build our team, we have sold a lot of players on installments to try and encourage teams to bid for them. And we're not going to spend anywhere near our budget. Or unless I get to the final day of the window and suddenly go, fuck it, and just sign someone mad on a whim. And that wage budget, what's your goal with this team? So, Mr. Momo Man, a large issue we had is, I mean, it's not an issue really, but it is an issue. It is an issue. So I'll pop back here to the finance. Currently, we're 158 in the black, which is great. But we did have a massive net debt. Here we go. This is where I took over. There's barely any money in the coffers whatsoever. And it's just a lot of money outgoing on a lot of players that weren't playing particularly well. So what I want to do is I want to get our base wage back down to something manageable, so that when we look to bring in those stars and when we want to be a little bit more reactive to what's going on in the market, we've got more players scouted. We're not getting players demanding 500,000, 600,000 a week, or we're getting fewer players demanding that, because we're going to walk away if players are demanding that amount. We want to make sure that we're relatively self-sustainable whilst we try and compete. We finished second in the league. We were runners up in the Champions League. Not bad for a first season, just not great. So obviously the plan is to try and win things. As well as we've done to get ourselves to Milan, we haven't actually won anything since 2027? Possibly. Does it tell you what competitions? No, it doesn't. If we pop to the timeline. So when we went to Darmstadt, all the way back. So we won the Vikings back in the 2027 season. We then stepped down, took over at Darmstadt. We avoided relegation the first season. They were in the relegation zone in the Bundesliga, the Zweite Bundesliga. We got promoted in second in the second season. So we didn't win anything in that season. And we then managed to qualify twice for Europe once we were in the Bundesliga, but again, didn't actually win anything. So it's been a long time since we've lifted a trophy. So it'd be nice to, hopefully this season. Hopefully. At Triangles, the payroll restructuring is an incredible job. Do you ever go back and check on Darmstadt and how they're doing these days? I haven't checked on Darmstadt. I do still check in on Maria Ham, who had a pretty rotten start to the season from what I recall. Let's see. So they're third. They're coming up to the last 8 games or so. Not even that. So it's 22 plus 5, 27. So yeah, there's still 10 games left. They're joint top, which isn't too bad. But they won the season before. After we left, they had a couple of years in the wilderness. They seem to be getting back into form. A couple of the players are still there. It's Reitanen's last season, I believe. No, one more season left on his contract there. So Reitanen's still there, which is absolutely cool. Lundberg's still there as well. He doesn't seem to be starting quite as much, but he's still scoring goals. 64 goals in 204 games feels like a little bit of a drop-off. So yeah, he did drop off a little bit in our final season. Hasn't broken double figures in the league since. But that season in 2029, he was absolutely incredible in Europe. 12 goals in 13 games, which is awesome. Antonio Yakub is still there. I think that might be the other player that's the only one that still survived. Good season last year, 14 goals in the league. Oh, Oscar Snore is still the starting goalkeeper as well. So he's been reasonably solid. I'm surprised. I would have thought that he might have got a bigger move, to be honest. Everyone else is new. Let's have a look at Darmstadt. Where am I there? Darmstadt. So they're still in the Bundesliga. That's a good sign. Stages, isn't it? Last season, they finished 5 points above the relegation. There's a playoff for the team in 16th. So they have dropped off. Not necessarily a surprise there. Eugene Polanski is now their manager. I think he's only just taken over. I don't think he was the one that succeeded me. So yeah, they had Bayer Lorzer succeeded. Didn't even last half a year. Polanski seems to have steadied the ship. There's not really been much change here. We've still got Highland in goal. Kenneth Schmidt is still there. Too expensive. I was going to say, if Kenneth Schmidt was available for like 5 million euros, might look to bring him with me. They have got rid of Jalal Abdullahi, though. Sold him at a loss. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. And he got 23 goals for us. A lot of them in Europe, for sure. And then last season, they just didn't use him. I mean, 3 goals in 7 appearances, only one of them a start. Damn. Massacred my boy. Massacred my boy. So you're doing what Manchester United should have been doing for a while. Essentially, yeah. So Abdullah, are you excited for FM26 or are you concerned? I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I imagine it's going to. At this point, I have no reason to be concerned. I mean, sure, if we get to October and we haven't heard anything, then I might be concerned. But yeah, I'm really keen to see what the future has in store. Coritiba football shirt prices nowadays are insane. The new Coritiba shirts are selling for around £66. A Brazilian Serie B with Premier League prices. That is crazy. That is crazy. Marv is a proud owner of a Darmstadt shirt. Feel sorry for them after they get dicked on in the Bundesliga. Oh my, and didn't they just get dicked on in the Bundesliga as well? It was pretty rotten, to be fair. Why are you rejecting that? But they have accepted some for... Are you just constantly rejecting? Okay, we reject a buy. Why did you reject... DeFeo? Is he not on the... What? Did he end up coming off the development list because of that stupid trial? If that's the case, that's very annoying. That is very annoying if that's the case. Right, Paolini is injured. None of these guys are available. So yeah, we're going to treat this essentially as a full strength team for this game. Sconi there, really. So some players will play the full match. Most will probably play around 60 minutes. There'll be a couple that get 45 minutes. But yeah, now the final game, we do kind of want to work towards fitness here. Right, everything's been working towards fitness. So Triangles, Abdullahi got Dundee. Really did. Really did. Mr. Man, weren't they supposed to release some stuff recently? No, there's never been any... I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people that are expecting them to release stuff, but normally they don't. So, I mean, essentially, they announced in March that FM25 was cancelled, and therefore I expect that we are looking at the same release schedule as we would normally see for FM26. Occasionally, there's been dev diaries in like late June, but that's not been a consistent feature of their press releases. Their releases tend to start around August time. The last few years, August time, they lay out a timeline or a roadmap or whatever you want to call it. Then around September, they start doing their that roadmap. And then with the beta, early access, whatever you want to call it, happening sort of around, it's usually early to mid-October. I think that's usually the state of play. FMG, please God, no more roadmaps. Like, I get why people hate. I know why people meme on it, but I mean the amount of people I've seen on like the forums and stuff going, we should hear something. They should tell us what they're going to tell us, what they're going to be telling us in a few months' time, and they should be giving some. It's like, you're asking for a roadmap. You're saying you want a roadmap of when things are going to happen, but as soon as they send out a roadmap, you're like, no roadmaps. Like, roadmaps are fine as long as there's something that then comes about as a result of them. Another roadmap full of to be confirmed, and yeah, I think it's understandable to riot. Marv, apparently Embremo wants to go to Man United. I mean, good on United for targeting maybe a couple of players that probably wouldn't have been as fashionable for them to target a few years back. I'm really not sure what they're building there. Right, Siklic and Menya are fit. We're going to bring off Menya. We're going to play Hernandez at the back. Akhtar, Koglu and Nuama are fit as well, so we're going to bring on Mosconi and Bonato. The rest of these guys can carry on playing. What have we got going on? We are up against a 4-3-3. Let's see what it's like when we run with that in the second half. So Rex, welcome in, by the way. As a fan of Man United, his decisions attribute needs to be below 10. I think that's about right. Cunha is such a United... Is he, though? I feel like Cunha is... So, what's the best way to describe Cunha? I think this is why I think I did mention this on another stream, in fact. Not necessarily talking about Cunha, but Cunha feels like the kind of player that if he was playing in Serie A in the 90s, I'd be really excited about. But because I do get to see a lot more of him in the Premier League nowadays, I kind of think he's meh. And I think of United being a team that, I mean, they do have a habit of signing the best players of smaller teams. But yeah, I don't know if I necessarily buy into Cunha. No, he doesn't feel United to me. That's ultimately what it comes down to. It's a completely and utterly abstract thing that I'm working on in my head here, which has absolutely zero value. But he just doesn't feel United to me. Kajusta on for Roca. Perry, Pirelli, Gonzalez, Bajic, Kari. Again, he's just out there essentially to give him minutes. So hopefully. So yes, SI don't build roads like the Romans used to. Cunha is a player that has scored in the Prem. That's so not a United signing. It's certainly not a current United signing. I suppose that's fair. They usually sign worthless talent from abroad. That's essentially what we're going for. Davo, reason for attacking mentality. Because I like all the things that come with it. We're in mid-block. I like the fact that it does move the lines a little bit higher. It is a little bit more intense with its pressing. Slightly higher tempo, slightly more direct passing. It's just a nice balance point for where I like to be. Triangles, Embremo will be a great signing for United or whoever gets him. Also, as a fellow bald guy, I appreciate his game a bit more. I mean, there are some great bald players, to be fair. Dean Bass has made it more derogatory. Just feels like recent United throwing shit at the wall kind of signing. I will definitely agree with that. Yeah, it feels like a very current United signing. Oh no, it doesn't feel like a current United signing because normally they sign players from abroad that would be the same thing. But yeah. I suppose a large element of it is I'm still not sure what United are going to look like under Amorim. I mean, Cunha's got bite, but I wouldn't necessarily consider him to be great at pressing. He's got fight in the Diego Costa sense, rather than, say, the Scott McTominay sense. And Bremo is a player that likes to cut inside, but he does like to stay wide. He's not a great passer of the ball. He is very much a two-trick pony. Stand out wide, cut inside, shoot from distance, run in behind. And now that's not a bad skill set, and he does it really, really well. He's a very, very good player at that. But he's like 6'1" or something, I think. He's not particularly good in the air. His passing kind of lacks. He's not very good at passing into the path of players. He's good at making short passes inside. But I don't see him helping unlock defenses at all. I just don't see it. Cromo says, think in many, many decades United will be signing players like Bremo. He is a bit of United. He's arguably overhyped. Okay, I can get that for sure. RJ, no worries, my dude. I hope you feel better. Have a lovely, lovely lie down. And Cromo is off to do the football and score the goals. See you all on Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful five-a-side as well, my dude. And break a leg. Break a leg indeed. B. Keaton, do you have a skin with attributes? No, I don't. I play attributeless. The skins that I make are attributeless as well, I'm afraid. Sorry to disappoint in that regards. Right. Monterisi is still waiting on that news from Nico. He's got he's going to pick one of those three. Come on, he can't reject them all, can he? He's going to reject them all. He is so going to reject them all, and I'm going to be very, very sad. Right, we're accepting loan bids for Defeo. That's good. One of our youngsters scored for the second best goal of the Olympics. That's marvellous. Does mean we should have all our players back now as well, which is great. And that said, Profundi was the main one who was going to be missing. Caprile obviously as well. Oh, we've got to do registration. Let's clear the selection. Make sure we move these guys down. Doing that will clear them out. So Caprile, Fusari, Menya. We don't need to register Menya. We don't need to register Hisuki. Zanotti, Profundi, Kovacic, Theo, Navarro, Grinders, Kajuste, Kari, Rocca, Palmer, Kerim, Nuama, Bonato, Mosconi, Izuk. That's 17 players. We're okay from there. So what does it look like if I register all the players that I expect to play a part but aren't necessarily in there? So that's 21, 4 and 9. We're looking to bring in Monterisi. It's just a potential goalkeeper if Caprile leaves. So we're absolutely fine in terms of coverage. Sicklish should be registered. We won't register Nico, but we are prepared to if the situation requires and we can't get rid of him. Because if we can't get rid of him, I mean, yeah, I talk about leaving him in the reserves. If we can't get rid of him and we're paying his wages, we might as well make use of him, right? The Quares, there are skins with the pizza chart that use normal attributes. Indeed, there are. You can check out something like WTCS, which is a classic. Also, Electric Panther has adopted it very early. SAS, who was in here earlier, naturally. You've also got Just Skin as well, which I think, does Just Skin use it? Just Skin was using it at one point. I'm not sure if it's in there anymore. I know Statman took it out. And there's a whole load of Frankenstein skins out there. Right, that friendly will be an opportunity for our players to get some fitness as well. So, Rich, you think the pond United are having to fish in now is a smaller pond, so Cunit is more realistic, and is a United signing in terms of where they're at now? I suppose that's fair. That is certainly fair. I do think it is. It's certainly more. Well, no, I suppose. I know that I'm not being very consistent with my opinions here, but like, Cunha's been linked with some very, very good teams. I'm not sure I necessarily think he is quite that standard. So yes, I do think he is kind of United's level at the moment. But also, I don't really understand why he's been linked with better teams, ultimately, which is where a lot of my confusion stems from. Just maybe he's the answer. Maybe he's the answer for United. I don't know. Let's get some of these players playing in the... This is a friendly, so Juste as well. Palmer, Mosconi, Benato, all not quite there. Who are those players there that we had just up for squad depth? Is these two. They can drop back down to the under 20s. Yep. We've been linked with whoever the hell this is. Not really means anything there to me. So Mr. Momo Man just found out that Zaniolo decided to assault 2 Roma youth players, and interestingly has more red cards than goals and assists. Yeah, oh, that was oh, that's annoying. Stefan Bajic. I mean, if he's going to end up being our third choice goalkeeper, at least we have a third choice goalkeeper potentially for emergencies. Yeah, the Zaniolo story is wild. So he wasn't playing in the game. He was in the crowd. Obviously a former Roma player, currently at Fiorentina. After the game, apparently he basically tried to force himself into the changing rooms, was clearly under the influence, and pushed one Roma youth player and punched another one. All very, very, very odd. Very odd. Right, Siklic. If we get Monterisi in, Siklic isn't a guaranteed starter. Turkoglu isn't a guaranteed starter. Kevin Mania probably is. Light-hearted isn't necessarily the personality we'd want to work around. That's the one problem with this approach. We don't have that many guaranteed starters. Siklic, Resolute. Let's make him the vice. That's absolutely fine. So Rich, you think other teams have concerns about his temperament, hence United were able to get him as they are having to take more risk than others. But that's the bit I don't...
Do I not like that?
Exactly the right response. Exactly the right response. Yeah, but I don't think if you took those temperament issues away, I don't think he's the kind of player that Arsenal should be targeting. And I know that I've heard them linked with him, and I'm like even if it wasn't for his temperament, he's probably he's a Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford level, maybe not quite like teams that will be hoping to compete for a European spot, but they know they're on the outside looking in. You know, if they have a good campaign, they could definitely finish 6th, 7th, maybe even sneak 5th, depending on how other results are, but not necessarily teams that you were expecting to compete for Europe. I hate you, Nico. I hate you with so much passion, Nico Gonzalez. Damn you, man. Damn you, man. There are more teams potentially interested. I can't offer all of his wages. God, you are a dick, Nico. So 39.5. That's 5 million lower. And hopefully he should kick up a fuss about not being registered. We will register Bayach as our emergency goalkeeper. Let's see if we can get... We just go for a straightforward that. No. Let's just offer out at 1 mil. I mean, to be fair, the fact that we just have 2 players left that we've been unable to move on is great, considering how many we've got rid of. But oh, Nico. So Jake Indy, please could you recommend you a save, as you can never find one that suits you. You end up starting a new one when you get bored. Well, so Jake Indy, what was the last save you did that you enjoyed? Welcome in, Jonsa. How are you, my dude? Lovely to see you. Mr. Mo, the change in your temperament when he rejected the offer was hilarious. Oh, I mean, we're doing everything to make it so pleasant for him to leave. Bless him. Right, Monterisi comes in. That's grand. That's a big signing for us. I think he's going to be great at the heart of our defence. Let's welcome him in. Let's get him registered. That's cool. Let's just check that we've got the individual stuff done here. So Monterisi as a libero on support. Zanotti needs to be a wing back on attack. Reinders as a roaming playmaker. I think everyone else we'd already done, so I'm quite happy with that. So Sinister says being an Arsenal fan is depressing. 20 years of crap transfer markets. I mean, those transfer markets haven't been that crap, considering you've managed to get yourselves in contention for winning things. You had a reasonable, you might not have made that final step, but there have been far worse transfer windows for many teams out there. Nowhere near that bad. Adin basis, he wasn't great in Germany, wasn't great in Spain, and wasn't that great in a poor Wolves squad. That's exactly how I view it. Right, Fusari gets number 20. I like 25 as a goalkeeper number, so he gets that. Monterisi can take 4. No, Menya will take number 4. Monterisi will get number 5. Reinders gets number 8. We will give Isaac 9. Palmer 10. Nuama 11. Aktakoglu 17. Zanotti 14. Siklic 15. Kovacic 16. 21 for Navarro. 22 there. 26 for Kajus. Nope. 24 and 26. Mosconi to get number 28. I'm happy with that. And I didn't give a striker the number 2. Nico has taken a small injury. Nothing great there. So doing bases at this point, you feel like it's a bug. I'm pretty certain it's done just to upset me. Samoa Man, Ozil, Orba, Laka, Pepe, Sanchez, Partey, Erdegaard. Never a fan of Ozil, would have taken Di Maria. That is a bold take. I would have sold Walcott in 2014. That's more reasonable. That is more reasonable for sure. Ozil is one of the best playmakers to set foot in the Premier League, in your opinion. I think that Mesut Ozil had like a 3-year period where he was sensational. Bruno, but better, basically. That's... I'd describe them as a slightly different profile, to be fair. I would say that Ozil's much more of a creator, whilst Bruno is more of a, hey, look at me, aren't I awesome? That's being... My Bruno bias might be showing through because of how much of a whiny bastard he is during games. So John, sir, you've starting a summer job on Wednesday. Oh, awesome. I hope it goes well. Mephisto still wants to cry when you think of the 40 plus £1 or them getting rid of Ashley Cole. That 40 plus £1 thing, though, is dodgy. No interest in those moves either. Let's try and convince you to join Rotherham. You've made a good argument here. I'm more willing to see what they can offer me now, but I can't promise anything. I mean, you've when you seem to have been more responsive to it anyway, you've gone on to reject the teams. So let's... Is there any... I don't want to do anything spiteful because we might need to use him. Is there any other way that I can encourage him to leave? I'm disappointed at your recent conduct. He is trolling. He is literally trolling. I mean, that's just him going, yeah, I know I'm being a dick. Thanks. Oh, Nico. Like, I really like Nico as a player. Let's just be clear. He wasn't great for us in our system. That's not necessarily his fault. And it's not his fault that he's been given this crazy, crazy wage. Oh my. So it looks like I missed some chat about Isaac. So where's the talk about Isaac? People saying he's good at Newcastle. I'd certainly hope that he does stay at Newcastle. It would definitely be a shame if he leaves. But I can also understand, like in the same way that I understand Trent wanting to go to Real Madrid, there are certain teams that if they come in for you, they have an appeal beyond just their competitive state. So, you know, it would be weird for Isaac to go to, say, somewhere like Chelsea, or Man City, arguably. But if a Barcelona or Real Madrid was to come in for him, if one of the great Italian teams were to come in for him, you know, like, I can certainly understand the lure. But otherwise, yeah, stick to what you've got. Stick to what you've got for sure. I do think that basically all that Arsenal need, though, you're surprised they've called on Gyökeres, apparently. Have they now? That does seem dumb. Lord Louis, is Nico gone yet? He's not. He keeps on rejecting offers. Bless him. So Draw says, it seems to me that if United sells Bruno for a lot of money, what happened to Tottenham with Bale will happen to them, meaning they'll replace him with 5 to 6 mediocre players who will not improve them. I mean, as I say, like, hands up completely. Bruno is a whiny bitch, and subsequently my opinion may be coloured largely by that. But I actually think that United as a team will improve if they sell Bruno and don't replace him with anyone. Not because Bruno isn't a very, very good player. Bruno is an exceptionally talented player. But you kind of need players on his wavelength alongside him. The amount of times that I see Man United transitions break down because him and the person he's trying to pass to aren't on the same length. Now, Bruno can do things that other players can't. And so I understand that maybe if you're an attacking player, you don't have the confidence the ball's going to go in a certain area if it's a Ugarte that receives it. And so maybe you don't make those runs as instinctively. But the amount of times I've seen Bruno put a ball in one place where the attacker is running into another one, where I've seen him trying to make passes that really, really won't come off. Oh, you beauty. You beauty. Welcome in, Brazilian Fury. How are you doing, my dude? How does União de Tomago? How is the Champions League defense? If you guys aren't following Brazilian Fury, make sure to check him out. Absolutely incredible. Is it now season 12? 13? I can't remember exactly, but yes, taking União de Tomar from Portugal all the way up to the top, just won the Champions League, the season just gone. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Yeah, so Mephisto Bruno is so replaceable. Triangles reckons that Gyökeres seems to have bust potential. Now, I thought that Gyökeres was going to be a bust going to Sporting. I'll be honest. I didn't think he was going to suit the way they play. I've been really, really surprised, pleasantly so. Benny says, you don't know, you don't care, you're just memeing. You have pinned to an opinion that you'd rather Newcastle stay strong than another one of these players piss their career away at Arsenal. Respect the Toon Army more than the Gooners, mainly because Arsenal's a rival, but also because Newcastle have a more respectable history / fan base. I'm sorry, Newcastle fans. If there are any of you in here, I do put you on a par with Liverpool fans. Arsenal fans at times are also at a very, very similar level as well, I'm afraid. Which is this certain level of entitlement to be at the top. Which is probably a good point for me to disappear. That's a bad thing to say about things. I will wait the unhappiness that follows. So Momo Man, most teams can't actually banter Arsenal. Most of those fans who try were raging and screaming at their own teams for most of the season. See, that's the problem, is Arsenal also can't banter because they have no sense of humour about themselves, which is a bit of a shame. So Sonric goes, how good is Esposito in the game? In this game, I assume he's doing all right. I think he's at Napoli. He is at Napoli. He scored 44 in 118 for them. He's been pretty solid. Pretty solid. Johnson says, Bruno is in in your opinion, being played too deep as well. I don't know if he could play higher in Amram's system, to be honest. I've read that one. Brazilian for you got FM'd by Real to open up season 13. What a rubbish way to start the season. So Rich Sons, I think Bruno's genuinely an all-time United great when you consider how he's performed, given some of the players around him. Again, I think that, so essentially, as dumb as it sounds, I think Bruno might be too good for the team and isn't able to react accordingly.
It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh my word, look Ma, what a gentleman. That is 5 community gift subs to JCD Blade, to Medalis HH, to Bilbo Bratwurst. Oh, what a name, Bilbo Bratwurst. Gouda I Am, and to Two-Faced Trevor. Now, Gouda I Am, Two-Faced Trevor, Medalis HH, and...
It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
I don't want to mock any of those other names, but just Bilbo Bratwurst is an incredible name. And then DM Basis follows up with a gift subscription to Medical Car. What absolute gentleman you are. Absolute gentleman you are. Incredible stuff. So Bumble Snuff Cucumber Snatch, another fine name. I love your work. I loved your work in 4 Lions specifically. Yes, would be sad if Mbeumo wants to join Man United. I as we were discussing earlier, I don't get it. I don't get it as a move. Benny, Newcastle went through Steve Bruce as a manager. I don't know if there's any entitlement left there. I mean, does that not just make it worse, Benny? They've still come out the other side of it entitled. And surely that's when you pipe down. Now, as a Villa fan, there are a whole load of Villa fans that are equally entitled as well. Whereas we should be humble and just grateful that we're still kind of in the Premier League, to be honest. Bruce was decent at Sunderland, that's fair. He got a bad gig when he sold his entire forward line. I mean, it has been most things that have happened after Sunderland that have ruined his reputation, to be fair. Right, Siklic, Menya, Profundi will start. Reinders or Kari. I think Kari's in slightly better health, so it's going to be Kari and Rocker. On the left, it is Theo, not Kovacic. Up front, Nuama. Do I want Benato or Akter? Oh, GNG with 100 bits as well. Thank you very much, sir. You are too kind. I need to work out something to pop up when there are bits as well. Right. Look, Mono Pants is a fan of Bilbo Bratwurst as well. It's a great name, isn't it? Rex agrees that Bruno's too good for the current Man United side. Doesn't fit into Amorim's rigid system. Exactly, and like, the system can be.
Do I not like that?
Beautiful. Yeah, like Amorim's system is rigid and also does create space for freedom, but within the structure, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I think you're better off building that team around the system and players that fit it. I think it would free up other players to perform better than they currently are. It would also create pressure on them to then perform as well, because they haven't this season. So it is a lot of faith to put in players that, you know, maybe there are, well, I say maybe there are question marks about. There are reasonable question marks about. So Liverpool is fair enough, but they also tried to force a rivalry with us. Came out like the SWAT team when we beat City 5-1. That's standard. So would Bruno be happy at Sporting in an alternate universe, especially comparing how both teams have been going in their leagues? I mean, I think everyone would be happier at Sporting, right? Like, well, actually, maybe not, because Sporting have only won twice in the last. I mean, it's still winning, which is great. So Rex says a good manager should ideally have some flexibility, and a good player should be able to adapt to some extent. But I do think players' attributes and playing styles lend themselves to be better suited to some playing styles than other. 100%. So Rich struggles with this fitting into system. It's not that radical. Can't players adapt? I mean, there is an element that, like, so football, a lot of football, right, is instinctual. You know, yes, you have ideas that you want to bring in, and there are things that you work on the training pitch. But what you're working on in the training pitch is repetition, so that you do things instinctively, so that you get into the habit of knowing that a player is going to be in a specific position. And unlearning one system to then learn another one means that even though it's not necessarily a great change, like some people don't take those habits on, and sometimes there'll be things that fit in more naturally with players' play style, right? Kinda. Anyway, on that note, I've got a break coming up. Well, actually, technically the break's coming up in about 2 minutes, but as we're about to head into the first game of the season, it makes sense to get them out the way, and then we'll come back and finally play a competitive match. So I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. Right, we're back. So as I popped into chat, we're going to play around a bingo, as we did have a mystery mini game redeemed 10 minutes ago. I do apologise, Aaritalo, but then we would have been trying to squeeze it in with the break coming up. So that was probably for the best that I was slow to notice. If you haven't played bingo before, really straightforward. Everyone gets a bingo card with 16 unique squares on it. You might have the bingo card is unique. They will all have 16 squares. Those squares will have players, clubs, nations. We then all get the same list of 60 players, and we need to match them to the squares. Sometimes they might not match, at which point you skip. Once you select a square, that is locked in. You can't undo it. You can't put another player on it. So you've got to be careful with your choices. We will start in about just over a minute. We'll give it 1 minute and 10 seconds or so. So if you pop to that link that's in chat there that I sent a little bit ago, in fact, why don't we make it easier as well? I'll pop that link back up there as well for anyone that wants to join. So I think the admin chat is very reasonable. Oh, what's going on there? I've messed up something. Well, something's wrong with the big question. That doesn't matter. There's always something I've done wrong. I'm a professional, you see. The admin chat, like, I'm very much in the belief that you shouldn't be turning over managers all the time, and that you don't hire someone like Aaron without giving him a chance to instill his approach. But having been there for half a season, has he shown anything to necessarily engender that trust that should give him a transfer window? Because, you know, does anyone have faith that Jim Radcliffe won't just sack him in 3 months' time and then replace him with someone with a completely different style, and you're going to end up continuing, like, perpetuating this system of confusion? But that's a thought. That's a thought for a little bit later, because we're about to play bingo. So I'm going to click start now. So head on over to your browser. We do get the players in the same order. So the first few answers I'm going to do very slowly, so that I don't get like ahead and you get like special insight onto what players are coming up. So as like, for example, here we've got Dyer to Pamecano up as the very first option. He may well match some of these, but I'm just going to let the time run out. Partly because I haven't actually really processed everything that's gone through there. Now, Jorginho is Brazilian. No, he's not. He's Italian. Oh, I start really well, eh? Start as I mean to go on. Right, Frank Lampard. We are going to go with an England connection there, I think. And then with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He hasn't technically moved to Real Madrid yet, so I won't. I've already made one big mess up, so we won't try that one again. Alex Song went to AC Milan, didn't he? Actually, I mean, I say I'm going to be safe, and then I'll go for a risky one like that. Was Rakitic at Sevilla when they won the Europa League? I'm going to say that he was. I'll probably come to regret that. And we've got Donnarumma. We'll obviously play that one there. Bojan. Oh, poor old Bojan. Couldn't do it in a cold, rainy night in Stoke, eh? Ezekiel Palacios. I'm not sure on that one, so we'll let that run. Dele Alli. That's a reasonably straightforward one. We'll get that one played. David Beckham. Are we going for Real Madrid? I'm going for managed by Ferguson. I feel like there's more players that could potentially fit the Real Madrid option than there are otherwise. Marcel Sabitzer. We will let that one run out. Alexandra Pato. That would have been a good choice for Milan or for Brazil. It's almost like it's taunting me right now. Donyell Malen. We're skipping. Jared Branthwaite, I'm skipping. Alberto Gilardino, I think I'm skipping as well. David Calabria. Right, Ronaldinho. Has he won the Champions League Golden Boot? Has he been the top scorer in Spain? We'll go with it, that at least one season he might well have done. Alessandro Nesta, we're skipping there. Robert Andrich, we can play for Germany. Zvonimir Boban. Don't think we've got one there. We'll let that one go. Peace check, we'll let go. Right, Shevchenko, will we say that he's had a season where he was the Champions League Golden Boot winner? We're going with it. We're going with it. Andrea Pirlo. Dennis Zakaria. Lucas Podolski. I'm not liking a lot of German players coming up in this. Nico Schlotterbeck now as well. Julian Ryerson is Norwegian. Alexander Sorloth. Is he at Villarreal? I've played it now. Probably going to regret that, but oh well. Julian Araujo. Edouard Mendy. Drissa Gay. Soyuncu. Yilmaz. Right, we're in the Turkish section now. Jan Bisek. Has he played in Belgium? Did he come from Belgium? Yeah, let's go for it. Kovacic for Man City. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Jordan Ayew. Paul Gascoigne. Theo Walcott. Obafemi Martins. Yohan Cabaye. Dani Alves. Bono. Zuma. Smalling. Gleb. This isn't looking good. This isn't looking good. Batshuayi. Javi Martinez. Kylian Mbappe. At least I can feel confident that I've got one right. That was not good, my friend, says DM Bassist. Indeed, I feel very, very much the same way. However, you say that's not good. We have 3 bingos. 3 bingos. Incredible. Welcome back, Jonsa. My word. Draw and Sonric. All coming in there with that is incredible stuff. All 3 of you getting bingo. And then we have Morton Cram, Jeff Badman and Lord Lowry all coming in joint 4th. Now, we do still have Zerachul to come, I have a feeling. Is he going to tie? Is he going to join the top ranks for bingo? Is he going to slot into 4th spot and push Cram, Badman and Lord Lowry down to joint 5th? I suppose we will find out. We will find out. So Rich was saying, to add to this, it's all about your ability to teach, coach football. Get the players to understand what you want and buy into it. Ten Hag failed. Amram is failing. Coach, club, or combination of the 2. And the problem is it's really difficult to make that judge. Like, how do you say that it's United, or not? You're saying that you are saying, figuratively, you can suggest that it's Man United, and because it's been an issue running all the way through, that's reasonable. But also at the same time,
Honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
But at the same time, like what you've seen Ten Hag and Amarim do, it's impossible not to lay some blame at them. Zerachul says they sacked a Norwegian. It went downhill from there. That's fair. Now El Norby has jumped into joint 4th there. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. So it's just I believe, potentially Zerachul to go. Will Zerachul jump into the points, or will he not? Thank you for the hydrate, Blue Lines. So, Rich, they signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Then Solskjaer would be gone swiftly. The medium-term decline set in when they signed CR7. Absolutely, I couldn't agree with that more. Night of Knee, the B-Team manager became their manager when Amram left, but around Christmas they got the current one in and they still won the double. But I mean, like the interim manager, it did look bad. It did look bad, let's be fair. Johnson, go on then. Never knew Godin played for Villarreal, but he was the last player left and needed someone for them. Perfect. Mr. Momo Man, Amarim was not the manager to have stuck with or bought in. Is it fair on him? No. Is it right to do after forcing him out? No. But he is not the manager you build with. That I think seems reasonably fair. And Zerachul has snuck in there in joint 5th alongside Morton Cram, Jeff Bowman and Lord Lowry. That is some sensational work. Draw, Sonric and Johnson, all with bingo. Incredible, chaps. Incredible. All right, and let's head to the game, shall we now? 3 bingos is insane. 3 bingos, Jeremy. 3 bingos, Jeremy. It's insane. Right, so who was from Uruguay, El Norby? Because I didn't have Uruguay on my thing. Let's be fair. I can barely remember what happened 5 minutes ago, which says a lot. Right, so Siklic will start because Monterisi isn't match fit. But other than that, I think Reinders we would look to be the starter long term over Kari. He's not quite fit either. So we'll go into the game with that. We are playing against the 3-4-1-2 of Napoli, away from home. Let's see how we get on. Let's see how we get on. Finally, sir, some games underway.
Honestly,
and we're going
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Oh, I would love it if we beat them. And we're going to talk about revenge. We are going to tell those guys that they can make the difference. And we are up against Frank de Boer. Frank de Boer's Napoli. There is Esposito we were discussing earlier. They've still got Osman up front. Here we are in our 3-4-3. Our weird diamond with only actually 2 midfielders that are part of that diamond. We're still in our white Segundo Castillo inspired suit. Right, first highlight. Could this be a chance for us to counter? Here's Kari. Gets the ball out of his feet. Drives forward. Down, there's the ball to Nuama. Nuama has space. He plays it back to Kari. Rocker from the edge of the area on his debut. There we go, Ricardo Rocker. Oh, do I have the soundboard? I do.
Ain't nobody I'd rather be. They can't take that away from me.
Boom. That will do as a start. Here's Palmer. Palmer holds the ball up well, finds Theo out wide. Theo now dancing inside, finds Bonato. There's an interesting ball, but it's made its way through to Nuama, and he goes down. Nuama hits the turf. The referee blows the whistle. VAR are getting involved. Here we go, waiting for the decision. The penalty has been awarded. Theo is surely the one going to stand up to take this. He is. Theo Hernandez wants out. Scores to make it 2-0. Boom, and we're going to have to hear that again.
Ain't nobody I'd rather be. They can't take that away from me.
That is a pretty decent start, but here now, Mimbella steals the ball away, finds Van Leuven, Esposito's in behind, it's a good save from Caprile. Caprile makes himself big, gets behind it, puts it behind for a corner. Blue Lions, surely that's the record. 3 bingos is most definitely the record. Here's Nathan, and we get it clear. Now we're on key highlights. I'm happy keeping it key highlights at the moment. We'll see how it goes. So thanks, so Johnson suggests that go Dan as a Uruguayan indeed. So yep, that might be the only mistake. I mean, that's still sensational work, El Norby. Absolutely sensational. Well, oh my word, Ricardo Rocker.
Take that away from me.
It's that goal of the season in the opening game. Oh, what on earth is happening? Right, we're away from home. This is the kind of stuff that I was hoping to see last season. We weren't at all. As Theo looks to get his second. Forces a good save. And now from the corner, Bonato is going to take. He's going to swing it in at the near post area. Profundi loses out. Kari can't get there before Van Leuven, who just boots it Boots it as far away as
Sometimes
possible.
maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
A rumour is it Segundo Castillo killed the cheetah for the leopard print suit. I mean, I could believe it. He is the Chuck Norris of football managers. Imagine Cole Palmer moving to a foreign country and having to learn a new language. It's not happening, is it? It's not happening. He will be followed everywhere by a translator. Mimbella finds it Osimhen now. Osimhen back to Schlager. Here's Van Leuven, finds Kirkus. Kirkus skips past the man beautifully. And who on earth was that on the line? Was that Hasuki? Was that Hasuki with the last ditch challenge? Hasuki gets in there. Oh, what a legend. Emiru Hasuki saving an almost certain goal. And now Pierre Kalulu is going to take the... that can't be Pierre Kalulu. That's got to be a new gen called Kalulu. Surely they've not got a right back taking their corners. Well, a centre back / right back. It is Pierre Kalulu. Pierre Kalulu taking the corners. That is certainly a decision. That is absolutely crazy. Mr. Moman, what on earth are you saying when the soundtrack plays? Because it sure as hell isn't the lyrics. Milan il Rossoneri. Ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan il Rossoneri. Can't take that away from me. At least Bale knew where Spain was. I'm not sure Palmer could point to England on a map. I mean, I think that give him enough tries, he'll get it right eventually. As Theo looks to make it 4, can't get enough bend on it though, as Merritt watches it sail harmlessly past his right post. What a cracker that was indeed. What is Ricardo Roca's nationality? He is Portuguese. As Nuama looks to get involved, he fires just narrowly over. Go for 10, indeed. Go for 10, indeed. Here's Mimbella. Back to Nathan. Nathan finds Kalulu. Look at the man over. No, Kalulu's going to take it himself. Gusto gets it back to Mimbella. We'll look to be reasonably organised back there, but it only takes one moment to switch off. Here's Gusto now, and that is the moment. The cross comes in. Osimhen pulls one back just before the end of the half. That looked all right to me. He's gone away with the ball. That's not going to be chalked off. Nathan now, we see Benato switch off. Theo gets caught very, very high. Gusto sweeps it in, and Osimhen just 6 yards out, pulls one back right on the cusp of half-time. 3-0 within 15 minutes is crazy. It's crazy. Basketballer says, only to help you, Rosha, you have to say Rosha. Okay, thank you. Do you use the Dave Insid pack? No, I don't, Tad. I like to, when it comes to content, I like to be as vanilla as possible because then it's something that is accessible to absolutely everyone. Kirkesh playing for Napoli. Nice, indeed. Great signing. Great signing. So they have actually had the better chances. And considering one of our goals was a penalty, but then there was that goal line clearance. That's obviously a big... From 0.4 to 1.1. So that was virtually a penalty's worth. But otherwise, we've had very little of the ball. And they have had some good chances. So we're going to say that we can definitely do better. No one's got booked, which is great. We are going to take Be More Expressive off. We're going to drop the tempo a little. Let's just try and kill the game in the second half. And there is the possibility that we drop the mentality as well. But otherwise, we don't need to make any changes. Mustermann is worse than Palmer at Italian. I almost certainly am. What you mean? That's clearly Chesney singing it. It's beautiful, isn't it? I particularly like the not the Milani Rossoneri parts, but the other bits where every part of it is flat. Not just the main melody, but the harmonies. They aren't even harmonies in the song. Some of those harmonies I've written myself, and they're still flat. They are definitely my favourite parts. Right, Nuama's taken a knock, so we're going to bring on Isaac, pop him up front, Palmer out wide. And I think we're going to bring on Monterisi as well. So the second half does seem to have started pretty dull, which is kind of what we want. So I'm all in favour of that. And At Hanover, we had Marcel Halstenberg, our centre-back, taking corners at times. Utter woke nonsense, Johnson. Utter woke nonsense. Right, Caprile, out to Theo. We've got 20 minutes left, so if this ends up being a highlight for like a Napoli goal, it's going to get nervy. Hopefully, we can maybe get ourselves a fourth, put this beyond doubt. And Bonato can play Theo here. Theo, can he get the ball across? He can. Palmer to Monterisi. Finds Profundi out wide. Back inside, Palmer. Palmer won his Rika right foot. Just grubs it wide. Weaker right foot. Right, coming up to the last 10 minutes or so. Eamon Kari is going to be replaced by Reinders. Cole Palmer is looking tired now as well, so he's going to be replaced by Mosconi. We're dropping down. We're increasing the time wasting. Let's just try and see out the last 10 minutes. Maybe a little bit too early to start the time wasting, but hopefully not critically so. There we go. Last 5 minutes or so once injury time is added. Could bring off Rocha for an ovation, or we could bring on Kerem. Let's get there. You want to bring on the exciting signings, right? As a fan, you would much rather see Kerem coming on than Jens Kajuste. But here's Reinders. Plays it into Izak. He's going to find Mosconi. Mosconi now. What can he do? Down the right. Plays it across. Izak with the shot. It's blocked. And then Hector Koglu's header just loops harmlessly wide. Oh, 4-1 would have been nice. 4-1 would have been very, very nice. Agreed. Chesney and Musterman like clones. Badly made clones. So, draw. Have you ever managed in one of the versions of the game in Napoli? I've managed Napoli a few times and I really enjoyed it. Draw. We don't talk about Napoli. We did manage it with Napoli as part of the speed run, the charity event, and we got sacked before the season was over after we lost 6-1 to Milan. In fact, that's a cracking start to the season. A cracking start to the season. I did not expect that. And now it is against Frank de Boer's Napoli. Maybe that's part of the reason why we were able to win. Right, Nuama's going to be out for a few days, but nothing major. Going to get these guys all a little bit of a rest. And then crack on forwards. The Mad Scientist has a new 86-87 database with Maradona at Napoli. That will be very fun. Zera Chaw's mentioned we had an epic short-lived try at Napoli. Ironically, we were doing all right in the Champions League, which was the only bit that mattered. Oh well. Welcome in, YMMVA. How are you, my dude? Yes, this is the 343 diamond. So Johnson, only when he was the only lefty on the pitch, to be fair. He also was the main penalty taker and one of the free kick takers. Okay, I mean, that does make a little bit more sense. And if he's taking other set pieces, that probably suggests he's quite good at them as well. But still, utter woke nonsense. Right. Is he still under bid? Yep, still under bid from Middlesbrough and Feyenoord. I think we're just going to keep, if he rejects them, we're just going to keep on dropping it down by 5 million each time. De Feo goes to Viking. Sounds like Portuguese or Brazilian by the name. Are you talking about Rocha there? Rocha is indeed Portuguese. We signed him from Porto. He was a player that we were really interested in January. And then we finally pulled the trigger this time round. 60 million euros, quite a lot. But he did turn down Barcelona in favour of us, which I didn't expect. And that's a pretty good debut. A pretty good debut indeed. Right. Como. Oh, that's the Coppa Italia. Do we have any interest coming for Caprile yet? No, we don't. Still don't have anything going on with... Look, take him for free. Just get him gone. I don't want... But so the same situation with Bajic as with Nico. One of the players that came and said we want to leave. They got a bid in January. We rejected it. They said they want to leave. So they should really be eager to move on. You would kind of hope at some point. Now, if we do get rid of Bajic, maybe we need to look at bringing in someone to be the third choice goalkeeper. So it might not necessarily be the smartest idea, but why be smart when you can be petty? Petty's far more fun. Far, far more fun. Oh my word, what the hell is going on there? Molde 7, Olympiacos 0. That is a crazy result. Crazy, crazy result. Tammy Abraham playing for Molde. Now 34 years old. It's his second season there. Oh, well, it's the off season currently. That is quite a sensational result. Molde are playing like it's Ollie at the wheel again. That's because it is Ollie at the wheel again, Brazilian Fury. He has been there since... Oh, he's returned. So in this game world, he joined Molde in 2024, lasted a season, went to Sheffield United, lasted a season. Evidently left there a year break before going to Odds, lasted a season, and now he's actually managed to hold down the job at Molde for 3 years. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. 7-0 indeed. Jeez. Crazy. Crazy. Gotta love the early rounds. I did see Mariaham lost, like, was it 4-0 at home against If Naught Porking. Kevin De Bruyne is now a Continental Pro coach. We don't know what his attributes are anyway, so that means absolutely nothing to us. Oh, actually, do we have any staff vacancies? We do. We can get another scout, so let's go about and do that. Don't really care for technical directors. Coaches are all filled. Kovacic was unhappy about his playing time. Seems to be fine with it now. That's marvellous. It's a bit weird. He returned from a loan last season. Complained about his playing time over the summer when there are no competitive games. We've now played one competitive game since that time where he hasn't, in which he didn't make an appearance, and now he's happy. Weird. In an alternative universe, his cousin Ole Fury is thrilled at the news. Oh, isn't he just? So El Norby's answered the big question. Inter were bad. Paris definitely deserved it though. They played proactive football. See, I don't like PSG because of the ownership structure and what that represents for football. But I love watching them play. Like, Enrique has them so good on the ball, and they're able to break down tough defences. But then, once they've got the lead and they're in a position to counter-attack, it is sensational. Absolutely wonderful seeing them in full flow. The movement, the understanding of where players will be. Oh, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So my hope was I wanted PSG to take the lead. I thought that would push Inter on a little bit, and Inter would then chase the game and it would open up, but they'd be able to score. They showed against Barcelona that they could attack and they could score. It didn't happen. El Norby doesn't like PSG because of the ownership structure either. Exactly. I don't think it's an uncommon position, let's be fair. One player aged over 21. So, Paulini, Kovacic. Or do we use it to get Monterisi up to fitness? We use it to get Monterisi up to sharpness, I think. I haven't seen any news about Nico yet. I am worried about Nico. Rich, credit to Enrique. Coaching them. Inter looked scared, to be honest. Agreed. I think Inter, scared could be quite a reasonable statement. I think they certainly looked shell-shocked in the opening like 10 minutes or so. And by the time they properly got, like by the time they started to properly connect and play the way that they can, like the game was over. And then they looked like they couldn't play anymore. Like there was definitely a moment for the fourth goal where Acerbi was playing everyone onside, and it looked to me like Acerbi had just gone, fuck it, we're 4-0 down. We might as well let him score a fifth. Like he was not moving. He was just like, yep, that's just going to be how it is from here. Right, up against a 4-3-3 of Empoli. I don't mind what we've got here. Do we bring Reinders in for the start? Yeah. Reinders in from the start. Mosconi on for Nuama. A couple of changes. We'll see how that goes. So missed a moment, and then it's ruined by the stupid riots in France to celebrate. I mean, doesn't that happen at like every major trophy? I'm pretty certain it feels like there's always some drama about people taking it too far. So John Sir doesn't like PSG at all, but I think everyone can agree that Enrique and his assistant very much deserve that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go with... Let's go out there and get a result. Let's be assertive in that regards, and we'll tell them that we have faith. Let's see if we can start this game as well as we did the last. So at GNG, Ryan Mason has taken the West Brom job. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Be interesting to see how he gets on. Momo Man's got to go. No worries. Thank you very much for dropping by, my dude. Basketballer 33, welcome in. Thank you very much for the follow. Lovely to see you. How are you? Right, we've had 3 shots for a combined 0.01 XG, and we've had none of the ball. With 30 seconds in. 30 minutes in. So Empoli are advancing quite a bit on the left there. We are really struggling. So they're moving in on the left. We're struggling to make inroads on the left. Getting more of it there. We're not linking up the front areas, and we are losing the ball a lot with Reinders and Cole Palmer. So I'm going to switch to that so that we've got players closer to Palmer. Gonna ask Reinders to dribble less. I'm going to take Be More Expressive off. And then a round of Demand More. So like the momentum we've kind of shaded, but we are the home team. Okay, we've had a good shot there now, but still not great, let's be fair. So John, so Enrique had the perfect match plan right down to the small details. 3 of the 5 goals were at the near post, which is something that Jan Sommer struggles with because of his height. Absolutely. But okay, yeah, that's been better. We've gone from 36 to 44% in the last 15 minutes. We've had 2 chances with a combined 0.52 XG. So we're going to say that we're unhappy with them, but those changes we've made, I think, have been, generally speaking, good. So we're going to run with that for a little bit to start off with. We might be facing a game with 0 highlights after a great start to the last game as well. So that's worked better for us in some regards. Now Palmer. So we're going to replace Palmer. We're going to pop Benato into that role there. We're going to go with double advanced forwards. Going to swap them around. So Isaac on his stronger foot, Mosconi on his stronger foot as well. And we're going to bring in Kari for Reinders. Keep that tempo dropped. Let's have more control and then be more expressive, or to increase the tempo. Yeah, we're going to increase the tempo and directness. Let's try and be a little bit more adventurous. Don't need to say anything. They're both feeling kind of motivated. So let's see how that goes from there. Yeah, we're going to carry on in that regards, but we're still not seeing a highlight, which is quite worrying. Here is a highlight now. Could it be for Empoli? Here's Barzagli. Barzagli plays it out to Rogers. Morgan Rogers feeds Victor. Victor for Yeboah in behind. Oh, Caprile, you genius. You absolute genius. And talking of absolute geniuses, welcome into the glorious, the beautiful, the wonderful Mr. Lama. Now, I'm sure you're already following, but if you're not, go follow him because he is the best of us. The absolute granddaddy of the FM streaming scene. And by that, I don't mean age. I mean like just the head of the patriarchy. This is not a good sell. This is not a good sell. What I'm trying to say is Lama is amazing. But what it makes it sound like I'm saying is that he's some old king ruling over the roost. Not necessarily the worst thing to say, actually. Right, Rocket is looking tired, so we're going to bring on Kajuste. Kajuste tends to like to get forwards a little bit more, so I'm fine with that. We're also going to bring on Nuama for Mosconi. I'm okay in that regards. Do we apply pressure a little bit higher up? Maybe.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh my, welcome in, Dom. Thank you very much for the subscription. You are an absolute gentleman. Now, I think there might be a little bit of a timeout here. Let's see, will that send now? I can't send the shout out at the moment, but if you weren't with us the other evening, we raided out to Dom, an absolute gentleman. So I would recommend popping yourselves up there and clicking on his profile and giving him a follow if you haven't already, because Dom is an absolute gentleman as well. Very, very, very lovely. And using a wonderful choice of skin as well, it must be said. So Lama, I would make a good hype man. Like Flavor Flav. I mean, bringing it full circle to the chat from earlier. Exactly. Welcoming Kirill as well. Lovely to see you, my dude. How are you? The OG. I mean, yes, the OG seems fair as well. That's far too sensible. Let's actually move to the 4-man one. And we've actually got 4-man with these guys up front. So we go advance forward, false 9. Siklich, Kajuste, Kari. We're going to posh those up. Push those up there. And then let's say we have faith. There's been just a single highlight in this whole game, and it's been for Empoli. But now we stand over a free kick. Here is Benato. Benato, what can he do from here? Hopefully he will do something particularly special. Benato to Isaac. Isaac from the edge of the area. He slams off the bar and it's cleared by Guglielmi. Oh, that could have been the moment. We wouldn't have deserved it. We wouldn't have deserved it. But sometimes you got to get the results when you're not playing your best. Here's Kari. Swings the ball in. Nuama with the header. And that's over. Let's demand more going into the final moments. Now, there is the link for Dom. Go give him a follow if you haven't already. So why, if I ever make it, Musterman is not doing any ad reads I need. Big Marv, there'll be loads of ad reads. If you ever make it. Sal Norby, what do you think about Robbie Keane won the league with Ferencváros? After some push from the Hungarian media, he said he always wins in his first season. I think his first proper test will be the Champions League qualifiers. What league phase will he reach with the team? It's difficult. I'll be honest, Al Norby, I don't know enough about Hungarian football at the moment, so I couldn't really comment. I mean, it's great to see him being successful. It's good to see Ferencváros back doing well again as well. There's Nuama. Oh, somebody do something. Benato's offside. Okay. Some big moments. I'm not quite sure how we didn't finish that off. Barzagli into Yannick. Emmanuel now to Victor. Closed down. He sends it forwards. Kajuste though with his header back. It's loose. Siklic just about does enough. Nuama's able to turn his man. Nuama cuts inside. Nuama with a great save from Vindal. This is much better heading into the final 10 minutes. They've got the grip between their teeth. Theo will take the corner. Theo, taking his time, sends it into that far post area. Menia is beaten by Rogers and away for the throw-in. Last roll of the dice. Last roll of the dice will come in the form of Kerem or Carmona. It's coming in the form of Kerem. Get you guys motivated. One last chance of demand more. We've been so good in the last 15 minutes, but so bad. So bad prior to that, unfortunately. And, you know, that's what happens. What happens? We have followed up a 3-1 win away at Napoli with a 0-0 draw at home against Empoli. Oh, in true FM fashion. That is a disappointing result. There is no two ways around that. No, don't need to go over the top, but I am definitely disappointed. Salama, how's the new tactic been behaving? Exactly as you've seen. Exactly as you've seen. We have got an interesting run there. So we have it wide as you've seen before, and then we've got it narrow, and the 4-3-3 variants. We've been okay. We've only played 2 league games so far this season, but 3-0 up inside 13 minutes against Napoli, and then a disappointing result to follow. So Coventry fans, how do you get fake players like Menia? So yeah, as DMB says, there's a tick box when you start a new save. But in terms of this is a player generated by the game, because we're in 2032. This is the 10th season, and Menia is a new gen. FMG is Robbie's boyhood dream to win the Hungarian league. Exactly. Lama, as you play through the seasons, old players retire. Yeah, exactly that. Rich Son, they're not fake though. They're current players with new names, though sometimes nationalities change. So for example, Rice and Edegard will be obvious at Arsenal. Yes, the fake name setting will basically just give fake names. That's essentially what it does. So new gens is something completely different. Yeah. El Norby, it was a slow start, but he bounced back. The cup final can be a little bit disappointing. Lost in a penalty shootout. I mean, you know, it's a coin toss at that point, right? So, you know, I mean, maybe you'll say that you want to win in 90 minutes, but, you know, the team makes it through to the final. You expect that they should be reasonably good. Cool, let's get these guys rested. And then we head forwards. Game against Sampdoria to follow. That should be a game we're expecting to win. I think Sampdoria got promoted last season. Yeah, so that they got promoted via the playoffs, finished 4th. So they've been relegated 3 seasons ago, had a pretty rubbish season 2 seasons ago, and then promoted last season. Slightly better than real life, but not much better, to be fair. Pardon me. So yeah, we've got the clarity there between new gens and fake players, indeed. But the old regen system, yes. I mean, showing your age there, DM bassist. We all remember the old system, don't we? Salama, the font for your skin is very nice. Thank you very much. I mean, it's one we put out to vote, I think. So that must be like 2.5 years ago now or something crazy. It is Montserrat. Which I'm told people shouldn't use because people are bored of Montserrat. But yeah, I went to a vote and it narrowly beat my preferred choice of canned. Canned it's a very satisfying word to say. So Rich, yes, for oldies who remember CM3, etc. Exactly. Championship Manager 102, wait for George Ware to retire, immediately go scouting in Liberia. That has got to be the way, right? The stadiums are big too. I like this skin. How big are the players' face? Oh, Llama. How big are the players' face? Let's get a real player. They are very big. They are maximally big. For the standard face pack, I think that the Dimensions are 250 by 250. And so I have deliberately chosen a design that uses as much of that 250 as possible. So there we go. There we go. Oh, please connect again. Brilliant. Is it still connected on YouTube though? Maybe, or is it much further behind? I think we've got there. I think we're back. Right, try and refresh. Let's pop that into the chat there. So Llama, what I was saying is faces are very big. Faces are as maximally as big as possible. That is, they're about 250 pixels in height, which is the maximum size of the face pack. So could we have another game of bingo in honor of Llama? Okay. Can I snooze? Right. Yes, we can. We can absolutely have another round of bingo, but you might get hit with an advert in there because I don't have any snoozes left. And because the stream has decided to restart, well, it disconnected, so it's restarted. The ad break looks like it's going to come in there. So I'm going to pop the link on over there. Oh no, I do have a snooze. A snooze has come up. We should be absolutely fine. We should be safe. So if you guys don't know how bingo works, it's pretty straightforward, right? You get a bingo card. Every single player gets a unique bingo card. We all then get the same list of 60 players, one after the other. It's our job to work out whether they match the criteria on the bingo card. If they do, you click on that square. If they don't, you click skip. You get 10 seconds to decide. Once you click a square, that square is locked in. You can't undo your selection. You can't put another player in that spot. So you want to make sure you got it right. Last time out, 3 people in chat got bingo. They got all 16 squares filled, which is incredible. A record on this channel. We had a whole load of people who got 15 right and who got 14 right as well. Some very, very smart people here. And then there was me and DMB just a little bit further down. Sorry to call you out like that, DMB. So FM Llama, it's the big face staging pack we all dreamed of. Exactly. So yeah, we'll give you, what we'll do is we're going to give it about a minute and then we'll head in and play the round. And that's probably going to be where we call it for the stream as well, thinking about it, because if I can end the stream before the ad break happens, that would be grand. Because I don't want to force people through another set of ads unnecessarily, and around this time is when we would have been finishing anyway. So that kind of a nice way to bookend the stream with a little mini game and a chance to pick up some major points there. So We Cook, welcome in, my dude. How do we get this new skin? So this skin isn't publicly released. It is, or something very similar to it, is available on Patreon. But I wouldn't sign up to the Patreon just for the skin. Have a look through the README there. Look to see if you think it's something that you feel represents good value. I think the whole offer with the director's cuts and with all the resources as well is definitely worth it. But yeah, just to be mindful of there. Right, okay. We are here. Let's play the round, and we are going to click. So check your browsers. Cool. FM Llama only been streaming 3 minutes, part-timer. It's a record, the longest I've ever done. So it's me, Ronnie. Would I ever consider a skin with attributes? No. The idea, I mean, like, I have made skins with attributes in the past. However, what happens when I'm dealing with a skin with attributes is if I'm doing a light mode and a dark mode, both attributed and non-attributed, you kind of have to change the structure as well. So every time you're then looking at making a change to one skin, you've got to make it 4 times. And if it touches on certain pages that have translation stuff on there, and I've got The skin currently translated into like 4 different languages. That's another 5 changes, and you've got to do that 4 times. So that's now 20 changes that you need to make just to update one skin. You've got to then make 20 different updates, and it's just not manageable from a workload point of view, I'm afraid. So yeah, it's very unlikely I will ever do a skin with attributes again. Also, I've retired from publicly skinning, which means it's unlikely I'm going to make a skin for a future FM at all. Right, Lionel Messi, I'm not been paying proper attention. So we've definitely had some go that I almost certainly should have played, but that's, you know, not the worst thing in the world. We can live with that. I'm not going to get bingo anyway, so not any crazy issue there. Right, Karim Benzema's surely won the top scoring vote, I think, there. Jadon Sancho, everyone's favourite. Jadon Sancho. I don't think he matched any of those, so we can let them go. Morgan's Gibb White. Ballon d'Or winner Morgan's Gibb White. I think that would definitely track. Rafa Marquez, managed by Guardiola. Sead Kolasinac. I don't know enough about Kolasinac's career. Same goes with Politano, so we'll skip that. Paulo Ferreira famously won the Champions League with Porto in 2004, and then after he won the Champions League, he was signed by Chelsea. Between him signing for Chelsea and playing for Chelsea, he passed the ball to Georgios Karagounis for the opening goal of the Euro 2004. It was a horrible mistake, and yet so brilliant, so wonderful. I see it on repeat in my head every day, and it makes me happy. Dusan Vlahovic, I'm skipping on that one. Benassa at Lille? Yeah, let's go with it. Let's go with it. What's the worst that can happen? I can be wrong. Yeah, we live with that, right? Huntelaar, we'll skip that. Podolski. Kalulu, I don't feel confident there. Makaleli would have been after Desailly left Chelsea. I'm going to skip that. Andre Nana. Ballon d'Or winner, obviously. Jan Koller, we're skipping, I think. Jonathan David would have been a better option for Lille, for sure. Oh, we're in the Canadian section. Here's Alphonso Davies. Going to skip that one. Pape Mate Sarr. I don't know on that, I'm afraid. El Hadj Diouf. Bolton sadly isn't up there. Should have been a Ballon d'Or winner. Levi Colwell. Gary Lineker. Peter Galakshi. Szoboszlai. Medal. Did he end up at Sevilla? Sevilla have signed a lot of old, angry defensive midfielders. That feels like a Sevilla type of player. Even if he maybe hasn't. Vertonghen, we're going to skip on that. Postiga in Portugal. Robert Huth has played with Makelele at Chelsea. Now to see if I can... Inigo Martinez for Sociedad. That's what we're going with. So that was much better, DM bassist. That's worse for Medical Car, though. Bob is top. Bob is top with a sensational 45. And then we've got Miles and Draw in joint second. And we've got It's Me, Ronnie, DMB, Mike and Johnson currently in joint fourth. There's still plenty of time for more. I think we've got 2 more that we're waiting for. So a lot can still change in that time. And well, one of those changes have come in. It's Me Ronnie joins the group of 39ers. It's Me Ronnie. El Norby, DMB, Mike and Johnson all currently in 4th. They are guaranteed points. So Bell Puscioni's in. Welcome in, Bell. How you doing? No need to apologise whatsoever. Lambie's in as well. At one point, I worked out the percentile and respective of their league difficulty. How did you do that using Excel? So, Lambie, I don't use Excel. I use Google Sheets. I expect the formulas are the same, at which point percentiles is percent rank, and then just follow the instructions that it will provide there. In terms of working out league coefficient, as mentioned, I took the coefficients from the Opta website, and then I just adjusted accordingly. So, if the Premier League is the top, it's the percentage difference. Dill's in as well. Welcome in, Dill. How you doing, my dude? How are you doing? Oh, Sonric. Sonric has come in. He's joint top. Another sensational round from Sonric there. Incredible stuff. How are you, Dill, my dude? I am very, very good. I am very good. Lovely to see you. I assume you're going to be streaming this evening. And as he's going to be streaming this evening, I think if you're not following him already, you probably should do now so that you can head on over there. Draw's not happy with the result. I mean, Draw, you're currently joint 3rd. That's still pretty damn good. Still very, very good. Sonric, you got one wrong with Van Gaal. Fair enough. I'm shocked to learn that Diego Maradona didn't win the Ballon d'Or. Shows you my lack of knowledge, but that has completely thrown me off. Completely thrown me off. So 1-1 with Van Gaal. El Norby's happy about the Hungarian answer. Sadly, you used El Hadji who played for Liverpool. Indeed, Peter Galacci would be a great answer for Liverpool. I'm Sadil, yep, chilling, editing a video right now and prepping for your stream. Appreciate this out. As always, my dude, as always. El Norby had Messi and played with Messi card. That's always the trick. You got to know that, yeah, he's not played with himself. I mean, So Lambie, thanks man, appreciate it. Just came across your channel, been watching non-stop these past few days. Sub, that's great to hear. Thank you very much, my dude. And Bob, not bad for your first bingo. Absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. And we have Zerachul has come in. Zerachul has tied with Bob and Sonric. So we have joint first, Bob, Sonric, Zerachul. And then we have joint 4th, Miles and Draw. Which means it's me, Ronnie, El Norby, DMB, Mike, Johnson have just been knocked out of the points at the last minute. You bastard. You bastards. That is sensational work. Right, okay. We're going to call the stream there. I've got a very, very short time to work this out before the ads come in. So let's head on over. YouTube, I can't raid out, so just a massive thank you for dropping by. We will be back on Wednesday, 7 PM British Summer Time. Hope to see you then.